Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast. You should pour that.
Did I say you could start talking? Hi, my name is Willows.
Hi, Willows.
How are you, Tyler?
I'm good, Willows.
That's good, Tyler.
Thanks for pouring me liquor.
I'm making a drink. Give me a moment.
Why are you pouring me liquor, Willows?
Because that's the podcast. We drink and then discuss business topics. That is Alcohol Beyond This Point, I guess.
Podcast.
Or whatever. You can see our cool new logo if you're watching the video version of this podcast. I printed a poster and now it's on the wall behind me.
Which means it's legitimate.
True. So today I'm making us some weird, I don't know, we're still on the mango habanero whiskey. We're just going to keep drinking it every week until we finish the fucking bottle.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I'm into it too. We were playing around with cocktails last week and we made like basically a Moscow Mule, but with this fucking weird mango habanero whiskey. So today I'm taking that a step further. So I did ginger beer, the 4 shots of whiskey, because it's only 35%. Calm down. I'm using some orange bitters, some Angostura orange bitters. And then I'm thinking a splash of lime cordial just to bring it all together. Now, I haven't tested this and or tasted this, so taste that. Let me know what you think.
Live reaction.
I can add more ginger beer to water it down if it's too.
This is the riveting content people tune in for.
Right?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. So, now that we got the cocktail portion of the podcast out of the way, which we never do, we at the beginning, the first few episodes, I remember we explained exactly what we were drinking.
Right.
But then I'm like, this isn't a fucking liquor podcast. People aren't
yeah.
the liquor is and here's another thing I want to address. Someone was telling me the other day that they were listening to the podcast and they're like, you never go back to the fucking topic. That's the whole...
because we're drinking.
But that's the whole theme. That's how we started it, was we had singular themes in the episode. And as, we're on 39 episodes now, and as we've kind of evolved, we've kind of taken away that singular topic and made it multiple topics.
Right.
The drinking is more of a theme, more of a backdrop, a gimmick, if you will.
Right.
To the whole thing. It's not like a fucking rule. And even if it was a rule, I can break the rules. It's my podcast.
Yeah, I mean, try sticking on a topic when you're also trying to get passionate about it and you're not writing anything down and it's unscripted and you're drinking. Yeah, it's one giant run-on conversation. It's not very structured.
Yeah.
So,
sorry. We'll try to get more structured in the future.
Yeah, not likely.
Probably not, but it'll be fine.
Doesn't fit the vibe. So first thing I wanted to address, just because before I forget it, because I know I will. I know in the last podcast I mentioned we were talking about the Afghanistan thing, and I'm like, shit's gonna go sideways. Obviously something's gonna go awful. Talking about someone taking a pot shot at the last American leaving Afghanistan.
Yeah.
4 hours later,
they shot a rocket at the.
No, there was
suicide bomber.
The suicide bomber, and two bombs and a shooting.
Killed 13 Americans or something?
13 Americans, 100 civilians.
And then in retaliation...
It was 4 hours after we recorded.
And then in retaliation, the Americans bombed a hotel and killed 20 children or something.
They bombed a car and there was a bunch of quote unquote collateral damage. They predator struck.
I love predator stroking.
Yes, they predator stroked the shit out of a car full of apparent suicide bombers and killed a bunch of children. So that'll teach those 4-year-olds to fuck with America.
To commit suicide? Wait.
Yeah, so 4-year-olds in Afghanistan are shaking in their boots and canceling their plans to overthrow the American government.
Now the survivors probably will become radicalized and hate the American government.
Oh, 100%. They have a lot more guns to do it with now.
Yeah, perfect. Great.
Yeah, that's what
that's
what we wanted, right?
We won't try to get too political, but cheers to the end of the longest
That's
war.
not political. I'm
geopolitical. Cheers to the end of the longest war that America's ever been involved in for 20 years.
Except for the drug war.
The war on drugs, which they, for the
also
record, lost horribly. Just like this one. 100,000 people are dead and $10 trillion has been spent and not a single person is safer.
Turns out a war of attrition based on shitty fundamentals cycled through ever-changing presidents are not effective.
Isn't it wild that like the left and the right went back and forth for like Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, and they were just still in all these wars?
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do? Be the guy that pulls out and gets shit on?
Oh, Biden.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, that was like I know we did this the other day on our call, like as a thought experiment. Be like, okay, what if Trump was still in office, and you know all of this happened, but 2 months earlier?
Yeah.
How much of a shit show would it have been, and like how would he have treated it?
Well, it would have been the same, right?
Probably. But hey, he dodged a fucking bullet there. He's like, we're going to withdraw from Afghanistan. He starts the clock and then leaves office. Biden gets shit on. Then he comes back 4 years later and takes all the glory.
Oh, God, if Trump wins.
He's going to. I'm calling it right now. What is that?
So quick shout out to Toolshed Brewing Company in Calgary, Alberta. He says Calgary, Alberta. I have never heard of them, nor have I ever had one of their beers. But my friend Daniel, shout out Daniel, was in Calgary recently, and I was looking after his pool and his cats. And so we brought a bunch of beer back to say thank you. I made him pick me up a bunch of Rebellion Brewing in Regina, Saskatchewan, because that's one of my favorite breweries that we can't get all their beers here. But he said this brewery is one of his favorites. So he picked me up a variety pack from Toolshed Brewing in Calgary, Alberta. So I will be...
Sounds like another brand in Winnipeg that we know.
that we don't like. It's fine. Cut that out, Jamie. So I will occasionally crack one of these through the podcast and give my reaction. Not that this is just turning into a liquor review podcast.
You can drink 4 King cans and a cocktail and 2 shots?
Well, and probably these other 4 beers as well.
This should be fun.
I have to be up at 8 a.m. It's fine. Or actually 7.
Perfect. Let's get to it.
I will.
It's early.
And I'm glad you said 2 shots. So that means you're committing to 2 shots.
Sure.
Woo!
We usually do it anyways.
Yeah, well, I usually peer pressure you into it.
Yeah, and I begrudgingly say yes every time.
That's how we do our sex as well.
Jamie, cut that out.
Anyway, so we own these mics now that we're talking on.
Yeah.
So that's something that happened this week. The mics, what kind of mics are these for the people in the back?
It's an SM7.
Which is like, as far as I know, like the same mics that fucking like professional podcasters use.
And musicians, yeah.
Like I always watch like, I'm pretty sure like Joe Rogan uses this mic. Like I'm pretty sure. Like I always watch like interviews and I'm like, oh, that's my mic. Like
yeah, industry standard basically.
Yeah, it's a good mic. The only thing I would change is we have a shitty what do you call it? Switchboard? What is it called?
Mixer.
We want to get a better one eventually, but that's the limiting factor.
And signal booster.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. You know more about audio engineering than I do. But
somehow.
But we've been renting these mics, rent to own kind of thing. There's a music store here in Winnipeg that does this like rent to own program or whatever. So we've been paying, I guess, payments essentially. And then we figured we're not going to, because like when we did this, like, over a year ago, we started the podcast.
Or like, we're not going to go spend $1,500 on sound equipment and do this for 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we've committed to it, it looks like something we're going to do for a long time. We're like, it's dumb to pay the interest on the fucking, because like they let you finance it, but it's at like, you're paying 5% or whatever interest.
It's worse than that, but yeah.
Is it real? It's okay. No, so basically Tyler texts me and he's like, okay, it's fucking dumb that we're going to buy them anyway, we should fucking go buy them.
Yeah.
And then we make plans to go, and then everything, non-essential businesses get closed because of COVID.
Right. We've been planning to go for
over a month.
No, like multiple months.
Yeah. So we find, and then our busy seasons both started, and then we didn't have any, you're like, is there any day this week that you're free? I'm like, literally not. Like, and then, but we did it. We did it yesterday. We went down and bought the goddamn things. So I'm trying to like glean a business lesson out of this. Do you think it's okay for people to like dip their toe, so to speak, in something before they commit to it.
Yeah, I mean, minimize your downside, right? Don't up, don't front anything you don't have to. Don't own anything you don't have to.
That's
period.
fair. Yeah. Well, just like my corporation owns my phone and my car and my
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but vice versa. When you're starting a corporation and you have a phone and a car, don't buy another one for your corporation.
Yeah.
Like go lean, because, I mean, for any future businesses that we get into, it's like you have your base infrastructure, and then the second startup is a lot easier and leaner.
Sure.
And that should be your priority, because the big bills, big loans, while it may be attractive to start with a shiny, flashy business, nobody really cares. Like if people see a super flashy startup, it doesn't make them respect you more. I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like
in most businesses,
I think tech startups are notorious for this.
I guess that's what I'm kind of thinking. If you're starting like a restaurant, like, people don't care if you're a startup or if you've been a restaurateur for 60 years. They just care about, is the restaurant nice?
Is the restaurant nice? Is the food good?
So it's not like a rule for everyone, obviously.
Yeah.
But excess does not necessarily grant you customers.
The anecdote that comes to mind is I was in Toronto for a business conference, and we got invited back to Shopify's headquarters in Toronto to get to basically after party. And shout out Steam Whistle Brewery brought they had a chick wheel in like a flat of beer, and we just got drunk in Shopify's headquarters. But I remember getting off the elevator, and it was just a fucking room of IMAX. Like, as big as my probably 2,000 square feet of just fucking IMAX stations.
Yeah.
And then we were all kind of like, ugh. And then the guy leading us to the party was like, this is what a tech startup looks like, gentlemen.
And to be fair, Shopify's worth a shitload of money.
I think they're the most, if not, approaching it, most valuable Canadian companies.
Yeah.
They're in the top. Like, obviously, oil and gas companies are worth a fuck ton, but they're worth a lot of goddamn money.
They're definitely in that wheelhouse though, because I mean, oil companies are in the tens of billions, and so is Spotify. So
Shopify.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Edit that out.
Sure. But
yeah, what is? I'm gonna look it up right now. Actually,
sure.
just so I have a number.
Yeah.
And also Stripe, right?
No.
Stripe's American. What's the? Or
maybe it is Stripe, because Square is American. Square's owned by Jack Dorsey.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going off in the weeds. I'm pretty sure Stripe either was founded in Canada or that one of the founders is Canadian.
One of the founders of Uber is Canadian. Fun fact. He's like the 6th richest Canadian.
Stripe.com, RBC, Toronto. It might actually be Toronto.
What the fuck are you talking about?
We're just showing the Stripe address.
Oh, and they're based in Toronto?
At least that they had a legal address there, but that could be nothing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they're the biggest company in Northern Ireland.
Yeah. I know they're not. Facebook is.
Facebook is. Yeah, definitely. They can be the biggest company in Isle of Man. That's where Poker Stars is based, is Isle of Man, but founded by a Canadian. So, first beer I'm drinking today, I just finished my cocktail. People Skills patio style ale.
What? That can't be right. Market cap?
Mm-hmm.
240.3 billion?
Yeah.
I thought it was in the tens of billions. I just went past it because I didn't think that was real. 240 billion.
So that's every share outstanding is worth altogether $240 billion. That's
a lot.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
That's many dollars.
That is many dollars. So anyway, my story, now that Tyler's been Googling for 7 minutes, which I will have cut out, all these computers in Spotify. Now you got me doing it, you dingbat, in Shopify's headquarters, and they had like pool tables and fucking ping pong and all this shit. And then they had like, there's a great video of me wearing like a top hat. I don't know where it came from. And like I pan over and my friend Avery's like playing a mandolin that was just like there.
Yeah.
Like, there was like a music room they had, like shit like that. Like it was just like,
They're trying to be Silicon Valley, like attract Silicon Valley talent. and all
yes,
that.
that's exactly what they were trying to do. And they were hosting an after party for a fucking international business conference, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was like official or I just like got invited to. I'm not sure if it was like actually part of the event.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would. Here's a question: how many of those IMAX stations do you think are working from home since the pandemic?
Over half.
So that's like that was a waste of money then.
Well, I mean, if we're talking timeline, those IMAX are probably obsolete. Number one, and number two.
Yeah, this was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, they could just send those computers home.
Okay, fine.
You could have at-home workstations.
Homework station.
That's what I would do.
I had a homework
I mean,
station.
like literally take your if you need it, take your physical desk home, if you can take it, and take your computer. And if you break
put it in the elevator.
and if you break it, you owe us. It's just dangling.
Why
and
does
it
the
really
fucking cord?
annoys me
I know it does. Why does it bug you so much?
because it's a visual issue.
Do you think I look good in Peaky Blinders caps?
Yeah, you can actually pull it off. I think it looks good on camera too.
So I have if you weren't watching the video even if you weren't in my mind, none of what just happened would make sense to you. But there's one of these beers on the table called Flat Cap Stout
Oh,
with a guy with a flat cap, and then I recalled that I had a stuffed pug with a flat cap on the shelf behind me that you can't see on the camera, and I'm like, I'm gonna put that flat cap on while Tyler's talking.
oh my God, stuffed pug. That's all I heard.
I'll stuff your pug, right? Like, I don't know. What were we talking about, man? How am I already this drunk?
Are you drunk?
I've been drinking all day.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm pretty somber. I'm pretty somber.
So, I vote because I'm also pretty somber, and I didn't have any unwind time after work, and my brain's kind of discombobulated.
We move right to shot caller.
yeah.
I would fucking great minds think alike.
It's the only segment we have.
So, I'd like to welcome you to the segment we call shot caller. You pour them this time. I always pour them.
This is sponsored by Dr. What's his name? No, we're not going to use this.
Oh,
name.
yeah. So, pour the fucking shot, dum-dum. So, I'd like to welcome you to the segment that we call Shot Caller, the part of the show where you, the audience, can pick the shot that we are taking. Today, we're taking a shot of ivermectin. I've never heard of this whiskey before, but it comes to us very high recommended from my friend Marty, who is a horse doctor. I don't know why that's relevant, but whatever. I guess it's whatever.
Yeah, he said take 5 milliliters, and we're gonna take.
Well, how much is 2 ounces?
It's probably close.
It's probably close, right? So
Should be fine.
Thank you, ivermectin, for sponsoring this episode.
Woo.
Should we go into that joke, or should we just leave it? I don't know what's funnier.
I think we should move on.
Sounds good.
If you need me to explain it, you won't get it.
Fun fact: the highest watched category on Twitch is just talking.
Oh,
is the category?
I did not know.
Yeah, it's super cool. I didn't know that either. Because I guess Twitch was made originally for streaming video games live.
Right.
But the highest watched category is like just talking. So I think people do like a lot of different things. To be fair though, a lot of those are like titty streamers. They like have the like, oh, you donate $10, I do a jumping jacks and in a fucking.
Right. So it's like soft OnlyFans.
It's like it's like softcore porn basically. But and like you seen these jacuzzi streamers?
Nope.
They're just like in bikinis in a jacuzzi live streaming, like just talking to chat or whatever. And then
sounds like fun. I can do that.
It's because I started Twitch streaming pretty recently, twitch.tv/votewillows. But one of my employees, Wyatt, twitch.tv/Sculler101, has been involved in this a lot. And there's like semi-popular Twitch streamers that'll get banned from Twitch for like something sexually suggestive,
Right.
which was like not even that bad. And then you have girls showing their entire ass, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And they don't get banned,
Yeah.
even though there is rules against sexuality, but there's no rules against and like nudity, but it's like up to I guess an admin's discretion what sexuality is,
And getting reported.
getting reported as well. But like, yeah, like, oh, is a girl showing too much skin? Is that sexual? Are you sexualizing them now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
feel like that'd be as a company, I would not take a stance to regulate that.
Well, they do, and because they don't want any porn or anything, right? Like, that's not what it's for. So,
right, you could stipulate pornography, but if you're gonna be
Sure.
like tangent stuff,
well, but that's why there's controversy,
right?
is because it seems like some streamers have a pass,
Right.
and others don't,
Right.
right? So it's become kind of there's a controversy within Twitch, and some of my favorite live streams, this is unrelated, but or whatever, is the people that like go out in public and have the phone on a fucking selfie stick.
Yeah.
I think the first person I ever saw do this was Andy Milonakis. You know him, the kid, like he's like 40, but he's never gone through puberty because he has like a pituitary thing.
Okay.
So he's like 40 years. He's the guy. The song that's like "Pussy, Pussy, Pussy, Marijuana." No, okay.
That sounds like a shitty
He's
song.
he's a comedian.
Okay.
Like it's supposed to be shitty. That was the joke.
Okay, that's good.
But he's a comedian. But he's like in his 40s, I think now, and he's never gone through puberty. So he has like a high ass voice, baby face.
Wild.
Like because he says a
Pituitary gland.
pituitary like birth. What do you call it when you're born with a disease? Like
Birth defect.
not birth defect, but like from your parents, like whatever. But yeah, whatever. So he has this thing. I don't know what it's called, chronic whatever. And he was the first person I ever saw. He would like go out in public and just fucking go on the street and shit. And like he lived in LA, and he was like pretty famous. So like people would like identify shit in the background and then go find him
Yeah.
to be on the stream and stuff, right? And that was a whole thing. And there's a couple there who was it Ice Poseidon, there's another guy who would just live stream and like give the address to the house that he was live streaming at, and people would just come through and fucking hang out with them and shit, and like he'd just like be streaming his living room.
I mean,
and
that
people would
sounds
just be
It sounds like some LA shit, not Winnipeg shit.
oh no, you get killed, you would get absolutely just like stabbed and robbed here on stream. They
Well,
don't give
now
a fuck.
probably LA too.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, no, but yeah, like so the real life category of Twitch is actually super popular,
Yeah.
which is cool,
Hmm.
which is interesting
Yeah.
because I think it's an example of a platform. I always talk about like user experience versus designer, like what they had in mind.
Yeah, designer intent. Yeah.
Yeah, like my favorite one is it's an aerial view of a university campus, and you see where all the paths are, and then you see the grass whittled down where people actually walk,
Yeah.
and it's like designer like intent versus user experience.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess like OnlyFans is kind of the same thing, where
Yep.
they didn't launch as a porn platform. For those of you who don't know, OnlyFans is a site where you can basically produce content like YouTube, but it's locked behind a paywall. So you have to pay monthly to watch this person's content. And to my knowledge, what it was originally designed for and what a lot of people still use it for is like, I'm a guitar teacher.
Like Patreon.
Yeah, essentially like Patreon is like, I am a guitar teacher. I have guitar lessons, but you have to pay me $19.99 a month. You
Yeah.
get access to all my guitar lessons.
And setting up that infrastructure is really expensive. Like I've
Yes.
looked into this
Yeah.
because we were going to do like an online coaching program, and basically what we needed was the OnlyFans infrastructure. And I think at the time we just either wasn't really big then, or
don't
we
think-
just didn't think of it, or
I don't think it was big then.
yeah, and also we weren't going to launch a real estate course on OnlyFans.
That would have gone with Stefan's brand.
No, this was with Rhea
Oh,
Peace.
okay. Stefan would have killed it on OnlyFans.
No, he already had his own infrastructure.
Yeah, I know.
That
but
was built up, but yeah, it's over $100,000
what?
to build.
build.
To
Oh,
build,
yeah,
to
yeah.
build the base
Yeah, of
infrastructure
course-
to
well,
have
of
a
course.
website that does that.
Well, duh. That's why people sell on fucking Shopify and not on
Etsy and
Etsy because they already have the infrastructure, right?
mm-hmm.
But what OnlyFans has become, and this will lead into my topic that I want to talk about, is 95% of it I think is pornography.
Right.
Is girls will put naked pictures of themselves behind a paywall.
Yep.
And you pay them, and then you see them.
Or semi-nude.
Yeah. Well, there's different levels to it, right?
Yeah.
There's girls.
Or I mean, like 95% of it will be like from, like Playboy or like not fully nude all the way to full on like sex work
rough,
videos.
Yeah, like rough
Yeah.
porn, like like.
But that's the whole spectrum that they're talking about. So it goes like it would probably cross over with Twitch slightly.
Yeah, oh no, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like 100% it would, because there's a couple. I have subscribed to OnlyFans in my day.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of men, basically beta cucks, will often say, or no, like the Sigma males.
Oh God.
Will say, why would you pay for porn when there's unlimited porn for free?
I didn't know where you were going with this statement, but
sorry.
I'm there with you.
People, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
People are like, why these fucking OnlyFans sluts? They're basically just mad that women are able to monetize their sexuality. Number one, I like supporting small business.
Sure.
I don't have to buy at a fucking local farmer's market. I can just go to Walmart.
Sure.
But I like supporting small business.
Yeah, and
Number two, you remember the girl in high school that you always wanted to see naked, but she never talked to you? There's a good chance you can pay her to see her naked now.
it depends what kind of girls you're into, but yeah.
Oh, I was into the ones that are on OnlyFans now.
Yeah, all the girls that I liked are on their second kid.
That's fair. Yeah, we have.
We grew up in different towns.
We we have differing.
I think that has more to do with it than anything.
We have anyway. But OnlyFans. So the OnlyFans platform has really been built by sex workers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
without them, they probably wouldn't be like a household name like they are.
And recently, they made the decision to ban all pornography.
Which, by the way, they were forced to make.
So here's the thing. The reason why they made the decision was because MasterCard and Visa both said, you can go fuck yourself. Yeah, literally. No, but MasterCard and Visa said basically, we will pull our support. People won't be able to process. And PayPal has a no sex work rule.
Yeah.
But basically, all these payment processors were going to pull their ability to pay, so you wouldn't be able to pay on, like, if you had a credit card, like on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Unless they got rid of all their pornography. So they announced that they were going to do this, and then because of public backlash,
meaning 90% of their
fucking base is pornography.
Yeah. And their content creators.
Yeah. And they
obviously livid.
But I want to get your opinion on this. I think they fucked up.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I don't think
they'll never come back from
yeah,
this.
I was gonna say, do you think they're gonna come back from this?
No,
Yeah.
because Fansly has already come up,
Yes.
and apparently is, majority of the top, I guess, performing people are now, ironically, what they're probably going to do is just, which is smart to do in the first place, take their same content and post it on both platforms.
Yeah.
And tell people to subscribe on one or the other, which I think is just smart in general. You have the
cross post.
You have the digital copy. Just cross post. Get multiple subscriber bases.
Yeah, I
Fuck
think that's
it.
smart too. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of them are just going to, a lot of them are going to stay with OnlyFans, but also then split to be with Fansly. But I mean, that's fine for the content creators, which is great. They're going to be okay either way.
Probably better for the content creators.
Yeah, because now they have options.
sources of income. Yeah.
They have options and they have leverage, and OnlyFans just lost a lot of leverage with their content creators. Like imagine if YouTube overnight basically sponsored their own competition, and all the top YouTube channels now also produce on another. Like companies spend billions of dollars trying to accomplish that kind of same thing.
This is what I was going to compare it to, actually, was Joe Rogan's podcast was only uploaded to YouTube because I think someone asked him, he's like, I don't know, whatever, like
no reason,
people just watch it, like I don't give a shit, like whatever. And Spotify paid him $1.5 billion to
it wasn't $1 billion, it was like 300 million. We've gone over this.
$13 billion. $300 billion. They paid him like $300 billion to move his... And I thought they were paying for exclusivity. He still uploads shit to YouTube. He's just not allowed... the contract is he's not allowed to upload full episodes to YouTube. Or to
other streaming services.
Or other streaming services. But that JRE Clips channel still uploads like 20-minute segments of the episodes.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild. They paid him like hundreds of millions of dollars to just like start uploading on Spotify. Like essentially, right? So that's the kind of comparison. Like,
and then they introduced video as well with him.
And that was because of him.
Yeah.
And now other podcasts I listen to have the video on Spotify now.
Yeah.
Actually, you think we can get our video on Spotify? I bet we can.
Yeah.
Oh, lit. I'm going to look into that. Because the service that I use, shout out Anchor. That's the service I use to when you just upload to Anchor, and then they upload to like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the shit.
Yeah.
Got bought by Spotify.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. So do you think?
Shout out Anchor.
Yeah. You think they'll allow the video as well?
Why not? I don't know.
I mean, like, Anchor probably doesn't have that ability, does it?
Oh, I have no idea. I'll have to look into it.
They might soon.
Yeah.
No, my question was going to be, do you think that Spotify prioritizes video paired content? Just the same way that Reels is boosted?
I don't think so, but I might be wrong. I don't know much about Spotify's algorithm.
Yeah, they don't seem to do much.
I don't listen to...
I think Spodcasts are... Spodcasts? Oh my god, Spudcasts.
Spudcasts.
Potatoes.
Spudcasts.
I think podcasts are mostly like research-based and kind of like found by advertising or word of mouth, it seems. You don't really just go like browsing for podcasts.
Yeah,
At least I don't.
I don't either. I was going to ask, you listen to more podcasts than I do.
I've browsed for podcasts, but I've...
is there like a Discover page on Spotify? There must...
Oh, yeah.
Like how there's for music?
There's categories.
Okay.
There's top 10s.
Okay.
There's
because
top
like
charts
I
and
use
stuff.
Spotify's For Me playlist shit and new release all the time.
They do
their algorithm's awesome.
They do suggest podcasts too.
Okay.
Like crazy.
Okay.
Like a lot. But I don't think I regularly listen to a single podcast that was either in a top chart list or recommendation.
Okay.
I found them all like through references from other podcasts.
Because I listen to like 5 podcasts and I already know I subscribe to them and I see when there's a new episode.
Yeah.
I don't fucking go looking. Right. But yeah, I'll have to look into it. See if uploading the video to Spotify will be, because we do film this. I already shouted out the video version.
Yeah, you did.
We do film this. It's on YouTube.
Did it very early.
Yeah.
Business idea. Why don't we contact other podcasts to get on? Because that's like my number one way of hearing about podcasts in the first place.
So me and you
guest on another show. And then you do a second episode where they guest on our show.
Oh, and we do a second episode where they guest on our show.
Yeah, like people do.
Well, okay, so I have a question. Are you suggesting that we start treating this like a business?
I would never suggest that.
Ugh.
Fucking gross capitalism.
You want to treat our business podcast like a business?
It's fucking meta.
Ugh. Yeah, we probably should. So leave a comment or tweet at... No, we don't have a Twitter. Leave us send us an Instagram post.
At Willows.
No, at Alcohol Beyond This Point on Instagram. No,
on Twitter at Willows.
Or yeah, tweet at me. Vote Willows. VOTEWILLOWS.
Vote Willows? Really? Is that your handle?
I'm not going to address that. And tweet at me or send us an Instagram message of which podcast you want us to be on. And don't fucking suggest a big podcast that won't give us the time of day.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck It's
a good idea,
yeah,
Tyler.
Thanks.
And we get to do this live with you guys. You guys get to listen every week, and we'll let you know the progress of our podcast. But
We'll be on Oprah next week.
Okay, so here's the thing: how meta is that we're like a business podcast talking about business, and then we like start monetizing the podcast and like expanding it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What better content to show people how to like grow a business?
Or a podcast.
Or a plodcast.
Live action seminar.
This is a live action podcast. I do my own stunts.
And you're the fastest podcaster in Winnipeg.
I
actually
no,
maybe don't do that.
No,
shut
maybe
up.
I don't want to
No.
do that now.
There's too many.
I am undisputed the fastest winery owner in the world, though. That is true.
I know we've discussed this.
Oh yeah, okay. If you want to challenge me, meet me at the East Kelowna YMCA in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
They're triangulating us now.
Who? It's my favorite GIF to use. You hate it, I think, when I use it.
It annoys me so much.
My business partner hates it too. I use the Snoop Dogg who GIF for fucking anytime anyone says someone's name who I absolutely do know. I'm like, who?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Because he was on Breakfast Club. I think that's where that clip's from. He was on the Breakfast Club, and they were like asking about some rapper dissing him or something. He's like, who?
Doesn't know his fucking name.
Yeah. So that's my favorite reaction GIF ever, and I use it constantly, and they hate it. Do you see this?
Oh wow!
I just didn't react. My beer overflowed, and I didn't move.
Should have sucked on it.
I have a bad habit
Of?
I walked away from the mic to get paper towels. Sorry.
That is a bad habit, yeah.
I have a bad habit of like not reacting to shit I should react to.
You think you have brain damage?
No, I acknowledged that it was happening. I just didn't want to move.
So you're exceptionally lazy.
The big one I remember is that back when Zach and I lived together, when we were like 18, my roommate never cleaned the fucking barbecue, and it was just like covered in grease and shit.
Yeah.
Because he would barbecue like bacon and shit every morning. Which, shout out barbecuing bacon. That's a good idea. But he'd barbecue this bacon, and it's so fucking greasy, right?
Yeah.
And it would get the barbecue fucking covered. So Zach goes, and like the burners were broken or whatever. So we had to like light it with like a Bic, right? I guess you could light it with a barbecue lighter if you had one, but we didn't. So you had to like light it with a Bic. So he goes down to like light it with a fucking lighter. Lights it, whole fucking barbecue goes up in flame, right? Zach, my business partner, comes sprinting into the house. I'm sitting at the kitchen table. He's yelling, right? Like, Willows! This is how he sounds like. It's a pretty good impression. Willows! The barbecue is on fire! And I go, I didn't even look up. And I go, yeah, it's supposed to be. It's a true story.
I know it's a true story. I've heard it like 5 times. Maybe 20, but...
Well, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's what barbecues do.
Yeah, so on that note, have you seen those... I just posted this on my personal Instagram. The video of this massive tire fire that's happening.
Where? No.
It's what country is it? It's basically a massive like tire disposal landfill. Whatever. It's like, I won't call it a recycling facility because they're not fucking recycling them. They're just like piling up old tires in a place that's...
It's like a poor country or what?
Yeah, I think it's Africa somewhere.
Oh, just kidding. That sounded racist, but it's because
It is...
Oh, like when you said gigantic, you weren't kidding.
Yeah, no, like it's like forest fire size, but it's tires.
Those are tires.
Yeah.
What is this on the right here? Trees?
No, that's more tires.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's just a landfill of tires.
What the fuck? Where do they get all these tires?
Everywhere.
Why don't
Where
we
where
have
where do all the tires go? Right here, and they're on fucking fire.
like our tires too we ship over there? You think?
Like a lot of tires.
Well, I'm like, why does South Sudan have this many tires? But it's probably the world sending them tires, right? Like, where do our tires go when you throw the tires away?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure Canada recycles them.
Into what? Condoms?
More tires, probably.
Name one thing we make out of rubber.
Yeah. So the
Rubber balls.
I don't know if it's actually still burning.
Rubber bands.
Okay, no, it was for 7 days. Hagersville. Where's Hagersville?
Illinois.
Oh God, you have to entirely cut this part out. No, don't. This is funnier. So, I've
What the fuck just happened?
So this has been viral recently, and I was like, why? And why is nobody talking about it? It's because it's the anniversary of the tire fire.
Okay.
So people are just reposting old footage, and it was fucking 25 years ago.
What?
This fire burned for 17 days, but
Okay.
now they're releasing because it happened 25 years ago. Nobody really talked about what's the climate impact of this giant fire. Now they're like, here's actually what the climate impact probably would have been.
Okay, where was this fire?
In Hagersville.
Well, that doesn't help me.
Well, you cut me off when I was trying to.
What do you mean I cut you off? I'm sitting over here doing nothing.
Oh, it's fucking Ontario?
It was Canada the whole time?
No, it's Africa.
What?
Ontario, Africa.
Oh, Ontario, Africa. Let me know how much of this you want me to cut out, because we've said some dumbass things.
I kind of want to keep it in. This, this is kind of like a microcosm of people in the fucking world trying to figure shit out. Yeah, no, it's fucking Ontario. I love this. This is so funny. Okay.
Tyler.
So, massive tire fire in fucking Ontario.
Oh, really? I've never heard of this.
Blots out the sky.
This is the first time you are mentioning it on this podcast today. What about this tire fire in Ontario? Yeah, I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about either.
I'm just flabbergasted. This is fucking Canada. It just reminded me of the gigantic bale fire that killed a man.
That out by your town.
Yeah, the fire was so big it had a cyclone to suck a dude right out of his truck.
So sad, honestly, because he was kids, right?
It was some teenager started it.
Started lighting hay bales on fire.
Yeah, it was millions and millions of dollars
and
of damage.
if you don't live near farm country, I don't know what a hay bale is. What they fucking. It's like you mow the lawn.
It's dead grass.
Yeah, you mow the lawn, and then there's fucking piles of it in little cylinders.
When you say little, you mean like 1,500 pounds and taller than a man.
Yeah, correct. And some kids lit it on fire, and if you know anything about fire, it can jump quite a bit. And it burned down a lot of things and killed somebody, and those kids went to jail, if memory serves.
Yeah, it was like a few acres worth of it. Yeah, it took days to put it out. My grandpa was one of the water truck volunteers. Like they were just calling everybody,
anyone
within an hour that had like a tank on the back of a truck.
Yeah, we're like, get the fuck. Yeah,
because it's in the field. It's in a field in the middle of the prairies. Like there's no water sources. There's no fucking fire hydrants. Like you got to haul in all the water.
Probably dry that year.
Well, it was like October.
So it was dry anyway.
Yeah.
Shame.
Not good.
Not ideal.
No, I was listening today to the podcast book.
I was listening to what do you call that when you like a podcast is like written? Oh, a book. Right. I was listening to a book.
Yeah, I was listening to a book. Old book, Stephen King's The Stand, which got
Shout
turned
out
into
Stephen
a movie
King.
and everything. And I listened to this book a few years ago, and it's about, if you haven't heard of it, it's a super flu that wipes through America. The world, aka America.
But the story obviously happens in Maryland, because that's where all his stories happen.
No, this one's actually mostly in made up towns in like Texas and I don't know, a couple states.
I think he bases every one of his books in like Maryland, like where he's from.
Yeah,
that's like
a
thing.
Definitely,
that's a thing.
Yeah,
is it Maryland or Maine? No, it's Maine. Definitely Maine. Definitely Maine.
Yeah, it's Derry and all these towns.
Derry. That's Henry Bowers is from Derry. Right?
Yeah, a lot of bad things happen there.
It's from Derry. That's where they
It's
are.
a very evil place. Don't ever go to Derry.
But like that's where he's from, right?
Yeah.
Or is Derry real?
Londonderry, yeah.
How many states do you think you can name off the top of your head?
Like 4.
I could probably get 30.
No, I could probably go. I'm not doing it on the podcast right now.
I want to do it on the podcast, but not right now because we need to. I just like keep repeating myself. We need to have like someone with a list of them off camera, like checking them off.
Yeah.
I bet I could do like 30.
Yeah, probably.
Those like I don't know what they call it, but like the Atlantic, New England kind of area. There's a ton up there I could not get. There's like a bunch like shoved in together, right?
Yeah, couldn't be bothered.
And there's a bunch of like. There's North and South Dakota, but then there's like East and West Carolinas or whatever, right? Like
North and South Carolina.
What's the East and West one?
I don't know if there is.
No, they're definitely West Virginia. Dumbass.
There's not an East Virginia.
Why is it West Virginia then?
It's just Virginia.
No, it's West Virginia.
Isn't there just a Virginia?
I don't know. Country roads take me home.
So comment on
West
this
Virginia,
podcast in the
where
comments
I
below.
belong.
List all the states.
No, comment in your comments what state you're from.
Which state is east?
Well, apparently, like,
is there an east state?
Is there an east state? Apparently, 60% of our listeners on Spotify are from America.
Yeah, so we're just pissing them off right now.
Sorry, America.
Yeah. Sorry, America, that our education system wasn't 70% remember the states and the presidents, and then 30% was here's the foods to eat and what not to fuck. I think that sums up the American education system, right?
Also, all of my American friends, I have the 2 or 3 I have, aren't taught about the War of 1812
No, and that's diabolical.
because they lost.
Yeah.
It was a war that Canada and America were in 1812.
More so the British.
Well, Canada wasn't a country yet, but it was.
Ontario, Quebec.
It was Canadian Legion. Like
Yeah.
we had people, and we won the war, and we burnt down the White House.
Get fucked. And also, fun fact, while the Americans were getting the absolute shit kicked out of them by the Canucks, the anthem was written.
Our anthem or their anthem?
Their anthem.
Okay.
Their anthem was written while that guy was getting the shit kicked out of him by the Canadians. Like, that's the battle. That's what he was singing about.
Oh, cool.
Was 1812.
What is it? Dawn's Early Light. Until I was like 20 years old, I thought it was Donzerly.
Dunserly?
I just thought it was one word. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
What is Dunserly?
Now I know. It's Dunzerly. Dundersley.
Dunder Mifflin's.
Dunder Mifflinsley. Donkey. But yeah, we won the war, and like a bunch of our like natives like were like killing 200 people for every one they lost and shit. Like we were like we killed it, and then we burnt down the White House, and that's why it's the White House, is because they needed to we like half burnt it down, so they needed to repaint it to cover up the smoke damage, and they painted it bright white instead of like fixing the smoke damage.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
And that was because
And fun fact, the presidential bedroom still stinks.
Because of Trump. But my friend who grew up in Wyoming, my friend who grew up in where's Eric Foreman from?
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
From fucking That 70s Show. Where is that? Wisconsin. My friend from Wisconsin, my friend from Arizona, and my friend from Wyoming, who do not know each other. All 3 of them just gave me a fucking blank stare when I made a War of 1812 joke. And none
good.
of them had heard of it.
Yeah.
It's a major conflict America was in. They hadn't even heard of it.
I mean, you'd think they would have talked about the White House getting burnt down.
Because they don't, because they lost.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
It's hilarious.
America's fucked.
Yeah. I mean, okay, here's a fun thought experiment.
Okay.
What do you think the textbooks are going to say about COVID?
That is fun to think about. Well, let's see. What narrative?
Trump single-handedly bicep curled his way into a vaccine, and then Biden shit on it, and then
Made it worse.
lost the war in Afghanistan.
Lost the war, yeah.
And then Trump came back and then use his other bicep and curled the economy into really good places.
I saw a
I think that's what the textbook should say.
I saw a screenshot or a picture from a textbook. What do you call a screenshot in real life? Oh, a picture. A photo.
Jesus Christ, Willis.
Saw a photo of a American textbook that said when the Pilgrims came, the Native Americans offered to move inland to make room for the new colonies.
Right. They're like, give them the beach, it's fine.
Yeah. Like, this is
Worst
literally
idea.
This is a textbook that is approved by presumably the American government that says that the natives were not genocided. They agreed to move to make room for colonies. Like, the entire Trail of Tears is just erased in public schools.
It's fine.
It's not, right? But whatever. Well, we didn't learn about residential schools. I don't know if you did. Well, probably not. You had a worse education than me, probably, as far as history goes.
No, I'm pretty sure we learned about residential schools in high school.
Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I feel like we didn't.
I'm pretty sure we did. Like
I feel like I didn't.
99% sure we learned about residential schools in high school.
Not how bad, though. Like,
Yeah?
I don't know.
Like, Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
like,
we didn't go to the same fucking school,
Well,
so we can have different opinions on this.
I don't think they talked about, like, I don't think they really stressed the sexual abuse and, the hundreds of children being killed.
Yeah.
But they did talk about how it was, like, unethical. They were ripped away from their families. It was enforced by the RCMP. Like, I remember learning that stuff.
I don't. And to be fair, I did not pay attention very much in school.
And to be fair, my history teacher was also, like, 24.
Sure. But I don't remember learning that. Because I remember learning that the last residential school closed in fucking 1996. And I remember learning that independently of school.
Yeah.
And being like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like...
Yeah, it's jarring.
It's fucked.
Well, it's fucked, but what's also fucked is basically the entire, like, what do they call it? The, not the disobedient teen industry, like, were they like the scared straight shit where they send you to, like...
Okay, yeah. Rehabilitation, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, like the...
Yeah.
Fucking naughty teens industry.
Yeah.
Where, like, oh, you smoked a joint,
okay,
you're going into a fucking concentration camp.
Tyler, please do not call it the naughty teens industry. Because that is
that's literally what it's like.
That is a much different industry.
No, it's not.
Which I love.
No, it's not.
The naughty teens... Okay, go to naughtyteens.com right now.
Well, first of all, none of them are teenagers. They're like 30.
What?
Secondly...
Riley Reed's not 18 years old? She's actually in her 30s and married? What?
No, like...
But the bang!
I'm being facetious, but there was...
Shout out Riley Reed.
It's just rampant sexual abuse. And obviously they absolutely fuck with kids.
Sorry, what are you
in
talking
unimaginable
about?
ways.
The fucking Beyond Scared Straight show?
Not just the show. Like, it's a massive industry.
What? Explain this to me.
Okay. To those who don't know...
me? I don't know what you're talking about.
If you're an American and a parent, you basically legally, like, your children are your property and you can do with them as you please.
Well, yeah, that's how children and women should be to a man.
Right. So, basically, if you have a kid that you think is being bad or, isn't compliant to your rules or is, you caught him smoking a joint, you can call up a company. They will roll up, throw your kid in the back of a van, tie them up, and fucking take them 4 states away into the wilderness, throw them in a camp, and abuse them for as many years as they want, as long as you keep paying them. Or the court system can take, a first-time offender and be like, you know what, I don't want you to go down this path. I think you need to go to this camp to get straight, and they'll send fucking juvenile people that have no representation to these camps.
This sounds fake.
No, it's a massive industry.
This sounds fake, though.
I wish it was.
They put you in a camp for months? Don't you have school?
Years.
Don't you have school?
Well, you go to school at the camp. It's like a boarding school. It's like if we're gonna send you to military school. It's that, but unregulated and more abusive. it's unimaginable.
Huh?
Like there are schools where the rules are, and if you break the rules, there's like, one of the schools says like a lawn school. If you break a rule, you have like these sessions where basically a group of like 20 or 30 kids will go into a room with you, and their job for an hour is to just scream obscenities at you and like yell about everything that is shitty about you. Like your fucking hair is shit. Like they just for an hour, like they have to scream at you. And
Well, that'd be really short for me because like I have nothing wrong with me.
Right. So they have to be as abusive as possible. And the quote unquote rules are, and they have
No touching of the hair or face, and that's it.
Like that, they have like 50 rules. So they have like different classes of like levels of their inner society, where you could have like there's strengths, there's non-strengths, there's super strengths, and if you're a non-strength, you cannot look at another non-strength, and if you are a non-strength, you cannot look at a strength without being a strength first looking at you. If you look at a girl and think sexual thoughts, that's punishable. If you look at someone too long, that's punishable. If you avoid eye contact, that's punishable.
This sounds
if
like
you speak too loudly, punishable. Speak too quietly, punishable.
Straight to jail.
Like
right to jail.
It's like 70 rules. It's impossible to do anything right. And these are like government sanctioned, and the fucking judges send people here.
What you're saying right now to me sounds like a fucking science fiction.
No, it's a massive industry, like billions of dollars.
Do we have that here in
No.
Canada? Okay.
No, it's not legal. It's not legal to pay someone to kidnap your children and throw them in a concentration camp.
That seems like a human rights abuse.
It is.
If we're being honest. But
kids don't have rights because if their parents consent to it, it's not a crime.
I'm gonna do more research on this later because I am kind of smelling bullshit here.
I wish.
But
God, I wish.
But so I'm gonna go to naughtyteens.xxx later.
Yeah, look up the Elon School.
So here the what?
Elon School.
Elon.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Might be ELON or ELIN.
And you heard this on a podcast, presumably?
Yeah, part of it on a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
it's well done. I'm pretty sure there's like documentaries and books and shit about
I'm
this.
actually I would love to watch a documentary about this. This seems interesting. Excuse me. This one time in high school, we'll call him Eric. I don't want to like say his actual last name on the
troubled teen industry. That's what it's called.
Troubled teen, not naughty teen, Tyler.
I prefer naughty, but
me too. But so my friend Eric in high school, we were so we were walking past this guy's house or whatever, like his house, and a couple troublemaking kids were there. We were fucking around, like just, as teenagers do, right? You're just fucking around. Mm-hmm. And this one kid throws a rock through this guy's window.
Oh, okay. Casually.
Whatever. Whatever.
As you do.
On lunch at school, right?
As you do.
And we start running, and the fucking guy runs out and chases us, right? And he I guess Eric was the slowest one, and he grabbed him, fucking bear hugged this kid, dragged him to his fucking van, threw him in the back of the van, and drove him to the police station. Yeah. No cap. This is real. Like, this is a real story. The cops, when he got there, drags this fucking kid in. We're like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, this kid threw a rock to me. And he's like, do not fucking touch this kid. And the cops were like, get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? Like, no, you cannot. Like, they were literally like, if you do not get out of here right now. If you pursue charges, his parents are going to sue the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Like, the cops told this guy, get the fuck out of here and take this kid back to school. Fucking drops him off at school, pushes him out of the fucking van. And then he walks in and like is like, and tells us the story.
And you guys are like, I think he's dead.
So literally, so the joke for that entire year was like, if Eric was like sick a day, we'd be like, oh, he fucking got kidnapped. And that's a real story.
Like he could have pressed some mad charges on that.
Oh, you cannot just touch a kid, fucking grab them. No,
Abduct
absolutely
them.
not. I don't give a shit what they did to you
Yeah, that is a major crime.
for like
If you transport someone against their will, it's kidnapping.
yeah, like an adult, you can detain, like citizens arrest are absolutely a thing. How it works in Manitoba, in the province that we live in, you are allowed to physically detain somebody as long as it's on your property or your property that you're representing. So like
Right.
the manager of a store, for
Right.
instance, is legally allowed to. You have to detain them there. You can physically restrain and detain them, but as soon as and then call the cops.
Yeah.
As soon as a police officer arrives, you have to like
Surrender.
get off,
Yeah.
surrender, like transfer
and you
custody.
may
essentially.
also be arrested.
Absolutely, and then they'll probably clear you in the future, but
You more than likely be also detained.
detained, not arrested. But yeah,
Right. Yeah.
and then so that's how a citizen's arrest works, and that can be defending your own property or your own life or your own safety. But you absolutely cannot tie them up and throw them in a van and move them somewhere else. Even to an adult, never mind to a minor. You just can't.
Absolutely not.
You just cannot physically restrain a minor. Like you just can't. Like don't and transport them.
And we just triggered a lot of gun rights activists. They're like, of course I can shoot someone that's looking in my yard.
Hey, maybe in some states you can, not here.
I'm also pro gun rights. I just like poking fun because y'all are fucking crazy.
I don't know about gun rights. I'm so split.
I mean, we talked about this last episode.
Yeah, I'm so split because people are so dumb, and I don't think they should have the right to kill me.
And that's an argument of why you need a gun.
So I can kill them first.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm an equal force kind of guy.
Right. Which is what a lot of
Someone's
gun rights
trying
activists are all about.
But someone's trying to steal your car, you fucking hit him in the head with a bat. Don't shoot him. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's
but
like,
what if everyone that's stealing cars in your neighborhood has a gun?
Sure,
You're not
I
gonna
don't
bring
know.
it
But do they deserve to die?
If they brought a gun, yes.
Sure, I guess. But like, I don't know. Like, you know, crime a lot of times stems from poverty. It's like, okay, I need to steal this car or my kid can't eat.
So for reference, I have family in Texas. And,
Mexico?
Yeah. No, in Texas. And they are ranchers, and they drive a jacked up Ford F-250 King Ranch, because of course, what else do you drive if you're a rancher in Texas?
Of course.
And so one of my cousins was down there, like that's from my area, was down there visiting them, working for them during the summer, and they were just like eating lunch at some restaurant in town, like in whatever the small town that they're at. You know, you can kind of envision, you know, all the cars parked in at an angle in front of the small town diner, and they're all sitting there at the front window. And then someone somehow fucking steals their truck.
Okay.
Because they probably left it unlocked or whatever. And I don't.
It's small town Texas.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know how you like started up the truck, but guy fucking steals their truck. Aunt and uncle both open carrying, run out the door and just open fire on the truck.
As one does.
Yeah. They just fucking blew out the windows and whatever. Just open fire on this truck. He got away. They didn't hit him. And they just like holster their guns, walk back inside, call the police, make a report.
Finish their fucking burger.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
Okay, I don't know about that.
Like, I think that's awesome in the context of you're in small town Texas and you just stole a truck. I think you're consenting to getting shot. That's my opinion. If you did that in New York State and you got shot, there's a shootout on a crowded New York street. I get it. That's irresponsible and stupid.
I guess like my problem with gun ownership in general is that people are so fucking dumb. Like, you know how many toddlers shoot themselves every year? It's like thousands in America.
Well, yeah, just by the numbers, people just aren't good at gun safety. Like there's virtually no barrier to entry, and you don't need to know anything about guns to own one.
Well, yeah, and then you see all these fucking kids, like kids, like 18, 20-year-olds.
What's in this?
Same thing.
Okay. Just less.
I ran out of sugar. You see these fucking kids with like legal guns they own on Facebook, and then their fucking trigger discipline is terrible, and their fucking fingers on the trigger and the safety's off, right? It's like, come on. Like, it's like, prove to me, because like that's how Canada's system works, is you have to prove to the government that you're responsible enough to own a firearm.
Yes, and the barrier's high.
And one can argue that once you get a firearm, the restrictions are too high. Right. I would agree, I think. Like, for instance, when you own like a handgun in Canada, you have to go through fucking courses and tests and background checks, and you have to get re-background checked all the time.
Yep, and if you have a single charge that hits like a bunch of categories, if you have a single charge, you lose
all your rights forever.
Yeah, all your rights forever.
And if you have a restricted weapon, which is like handguns, anything that's not a long gun or a shotgun, essentially. So anything.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have automatic weapons at all, but anything like handguns and whatever.
Revolvers.
You have to. The only time you can shoot them is at a range.
Yeah.
Or a gun club or whatever.
Or your own property.
But not in the city though.
No.
You can.
Well, yeah, no, but that's a city ordinance. But
sure. Yeah, on your farm you can open carry. We have those laws because people up north were getting fucking attacked by bears. So they're like, hey, can I please have a shotgun?
Yeah.
Anyway, but that notwithstanding, if I want to shoot my handgun, just kidding, I don't have one. I have to schedule a time at a range. I have to submit my driving plan to that range to the government. And say if there's construction on your route, and you get pulled over going around the construction, they will put you in jail.
They can.
Yes. For going off that designated route.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. So.
And you know what doesn't happen here?
Mass shootings.
The government has not yet overrun our towns and cities and like fucking stolen our children.
That's actually a good point. Well, except that time they stole a bunch of native children and.
Yeah, but they didn't have guns in the first place.
They absolutely did, but whatever.
They didn't have as many as they needed.
So you're saying we need more guns?
Yes, that's what I'm arguing.
Perfect.
No, I'm saying our society is not yet melted down, and we have these policies because you can do a terrorism,
true,
or an insurgency with a fucking long gun and a shotgun. Those are like some of the most effective weapons, anyways. Because if you are in an assault weapon or CQB situation against the military or an insurgent, or like you're gonna fucking lose, guaranteed. Like we talked about this probably the last podcast. You're just putting a bigger target on your fucking chest.
I think it was last or the one before. Yeah, we talked about this, and yeah, I was just talking about this with my cousin. The Cuban Revolution, they had way less men than they were suggesting they had.
Mm-hmm.
So like Castro and Guevara would like hijack radio stations and be like, oh, there's 1,000 men are attacking this town and 5,000 men are attacking this town. Meanwhile, they had 60 guys.
Right.
But they would come out of the bush and fuck up a bunch of shit and then dip back into the fucking jungle.
Yeah, guerrilla warfare, yeah.
And then he had these radio stations that he had control of. So then he'd be like, yeah, 1,000 men strong fucking attack this city. And then the government troops were like, were there 1,000 guys? Like, maybe there was. We were getting shot at from all fucking sides. Like, and then it was like literally, it became like psychological warfare.
Right, yeah, because if your soldiers start laying down their arms, they're like, this is hopeless.
And when they took over Cuba, barely firing any shots.
Right.
It was all psychological. Like in that,
Good job.
Like in, on fucking Scarif, where Krennic had his fucking data vault and engineer, so he was trying to get the Death Star plans. What they did, they only had like 30 guys. What they did was plant a bunch of fucking charges on all these landing pads,
mm-hmm.
and then Krennic's watching out the fucking window in the observation deck or whatever, and they start detonating these fucking charges.
Yeah.
And then they hacked Imperial comms or whatever. So they all started doing voices, and fucking like Bodhi's like,
Oh yeah, I remember this.
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's like, oh, the rebels are attacking this position. There's got to be 50 of them. And then he's like, oh, the rebels are attacking this position. There got to be 100 of them. And like he just like they're on the two of them are like just saying, and then so it's all coming in Imperial comms, and then Krennic's like, are we fucking blind? Like deploy the entire garrison, go. And then but they had like 20 guys, and they were just trying to like create a distraction to get the plans right.
That's a great.
It's a guerrilla tactic.
No,
like.
it's a good example. Like any
The Star Wars reference was a good example. Thanks, Willows.
any gun to gun confrontation between the U.S. military and the citizens, it will make virtually no difference if you show up with a rifle, a shotgun, a AR-15, or a 9mm. Like, it's not going to make much of a difference. If there's an armed resistance, at that point, the soldiers are likely going to turn against each other anyways.
Well, that's the thing I always thought about is like, where does the military go in this? Like, it's not like
It would not take very long. It wouldn't go very far before the military itself would fracture.
well, half of them are white supremacists that hate fucking
Exactly.
Biden, right? So
No, like there would be the sects of the military that would break off and just create their own militia groups would be more problematic than what the military would do.
yeah, do you think at a certain point they just nuked the fucking country?
No, I don't think so.
I think Russia would.
I think another country might take advantage of it, but
Yeah.
no. But
Well, China would start funding one of the fucking.
right, there might be like a terror.
Militists,
There might be
like-
a terror attack type of deal, but it takes a handful of people to man those systems, and I think they would stay up for a very long time, like till the very last day.
What, the nukes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like if a single other nation was like, okay, we're gonna launch nukes against you, there's still gonna be like 4 guys that can pull the trigger and gonna fuck you up. Like I think the nuclear deterrent in the U.S. is strong enough. Like there could be a single like commander in a nuclear sub sitting outside of Russia that could just
Well, apparently there are.
well, absolutely, and they
you-
could probably
like,
operate.
apparently-
They could operate probably autonomously.
I was reading every new president has to decide what their orders are if they get assassinated,
Right.
or whatever, and they fucking write it in sealed envelopes and then send it to the nuclear subs.
Oh, jeez.
So that's like a real thing.
But assassinated by like a foreign agent.
Yeah, like,
or
well,
just,
I guess there's open this one if Russia assassinated us. Open,
Right.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I was
contingency plans.
Google it. There's contingency plans that every new president has to pick. Because I remember reading an article when Trump got elected that was like, what is Trump gonna fucking say, right?
Right.
But apparently there's these envelopes that like only the nuclear sub operators are allowed to open.
Right.
And if we ever get in a contingency situation, they open it, and whatever it says they have to do.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, fucking bomb Russia, let's go.
Or it's like, oh, Germany attacked, bomb China. Or
Perfect.
Russia attacked, bomb China.
Yeah, bomb. Yeah,
Australia attacked, bomb
China.
China.
Yeah, bomb China. Yeah, but
North Korea.
But like they have nuclear fucking submarines in the ocean at all given times that they don't even know the locations of.
Yeah.
The entire point of them is to be unfindable.
Yeah. And
And
yeah.
still,
and they under certain parameters they could operate autonomously. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
yeah. So
apparently,
I think
I heard. I don't know if this is folklore, but I heard that during the Cold War, some like rogue Russian general ordered a nuclear sub to fire a nuke, and the people in the sub were like, nah, like that's fucked up, and they're like,
No,
and
I
they
think-
disregarded the order.
No, I think it was a moment where the Russians thought that they had been fired upon,
Okay.
or like the Russians thought that something had happened that they had to react to.
Okay.
And they passed down the order to retaliate,
Yeah.
and that person said, "No, I don't think this threat is real."
Okay. Is that what
And
it
it turned out the threat wasn't real.
Yeah, but
So it
that's
was
how
like-
fucking close we
Yeah,
are.
it was like a false signal.
If that guy was like, yeah, fuck it, like
Yeah, it was like a false signal,
We'd
and he's
literally
like,
be dead right now.
yeah, and he was like, "No, I don't think America would have launched a nuke. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to retaliate at this point." He disobeyed orders,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a movie about it.
Okay, which is like executable, right? not doing a fucking order in a Russian military. I feel like they could kill you
Oh.
for that.
Yeah, executable and like
Oh, like
an action, like a thing to do. No, execution would definitely be on the table. I don't know if he was.
Does Russia still kill people?
Literally last month.
Like, no. I know they obviously like assassinate their own people, but like, do they like firing squad people still? Like, do they execute criminals and shit?
I mean, officially probably not, but
I mean,
I'm sure
America
they do.
still does officially, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Like Putin kind of gets by on that tough guy
yeah,
facade.
yeah. Well, they're definitely
I shouldn't say facade. He's like actually a tough guy.
Oh, he's a bad motherfucker. Like,
Hail Putin.
Well, yeah, no kidding.
HP
the
computers.
Strovia.
Haven't you heard of it?
Hail Putin computers.
Yeah.
Fuck off. We do, or they've definitely poisoned people with fucking like radioactive isotopes and shit. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah, and most recently, that political dissident, they poisoned him with Novichok, which is like a Russian specific nerve agent.
As one knows.
Novichok or whatever. Yeah, they just they put it in. This is how easy it is for the government to kill you. Like, forget about the fucking vaccine. They're much more subtle than that.
That's what I was saying earlier. I'm like, they can.
But before you go on this tangent, they put Novichok in the waistband of his underwear. So the chafing, like the slight bit of friction that the waistband has with your skin, he absorbed it into his skin, nearly killed him.
Wild. Well, you see those fucking like the umbrella needle and shit. They had a needle on the end of an umbrella, and they brushed by a guy and fucking jabbed him with it. You couldn't even feel it.
Yeah, it can be such a small needle that you
just
don't feel it.
And like you bump him with the umbrella at the same time,
right?
And you're like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
And then you fucking die, and then you die like 9 days later,
right?
Because you get a fucking flu. And then die of an isotope like 9 months later, or 9 weeks later, 9 days later. Wow, that was weird.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what the fuck happened.
Yeah. If your government wanted to kill you, there's many more effective ways than obviously a vaccine.
Well, when we talked about this on the podcast too, it's like when the guy did the Freedom of Information request on the COVID vaccine. He's like, that proves it's not real. It's like, why would they not lie to you? What, they're just like, oh yeah, you got us. Perfect. Like,
oops.
You
foiled the prod with a FOIA request.
You really think that the government can't control these fucking forums that are saying that COVID doesn't exist? Why don't they shut those websites down? They're all powerful to create a disease, but they can't shut a fucking
Alex Jones up.
Like, the cognitive dissonance. Like, I distrust the government as much as fucking anybody.
Yeah, like I think we've kind of made this point before of like you have to believe both that the government is all powerful and completely stupid at the same time.
Yeah, and I
all powerful to pull this off, but so stupid that everyone knows about it.
Yeah, and I choose to believe the government is just dumb and incompetent.
It's generally incompetent, confused, and messed up.
Yeah. And there's no way they could collaborate to do anything.
And yeah, sure, there's probably bad actors with big plans behind the scenes, pulling strings, making big things happen. Yes, but think it's not a concerted effort between the doctors, the nurses, Pfizer, Dr. Fauci, Biden, and Trudeau.
Because there's no way.
No.
There's just no way. Because, like,
Get two countries to agree on a tax policy. See how well that goes.
Get a city to be able to fucking build houses. Like, they can't do it.
No.
Like, our city can't build roads.
Yeah, give California $9 billion and they can't solve 100,000 houseless people.
Like,
$9 billion builds you 100,000 homes, by the way.
$9 billion would build you 9 billion homes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck off. Like, I, for the record, believe the Illuminati is real.
Probably.
100%.
Why not?
I think there is. I'm not bullshitting. I know most of my sarcasm you can't even tell. But I 100% believe there is a secret society of people, like, saying ultra rich would be a disservice. Like,
Yeah.
so wealthy, connected, and powerful, it's unfathomable.
Yeah.
I, in my heart, believe that's real because just how people are, of course there'd be secret societies of people. Of course.
Yeah.
But and I 100% do agree they're pulling the strings to lead the government and whatever in a certain way. But
They don't control every aspect.
because you can't.
Yeah, it's been mythologized, but like it's
Try to-
probably real, but it's
Both-
you're giving them way too much power.
Both of us run businesses. I
Really?
have employees. Do you have employees kind of?
Not right now.
Not right now,
Maybe
but
tomorrow.
sure. I can't even get my employees on my payroll to do what I want.
That's a good point.
Like, I can get them to do what I want like 80%
You
of the
can't even get
time.
your business partner to do what you want.
Well, that's a whole different story. But like the people that I pay to do what I want like 80% of the time.
In their own way.
I'm like, fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
what do I pay you for? You think
You hold-
you honestly believe the government could fucking get this done?
No, it's not possible.
And then what? They're gonna poison the COVID vaccine, but not fucking horse pills? Are you insane?
That's a great missed opportunity.
Are
It'd
you a
be so
crazy person?
It would be so much easier and less consequential to like poison all the ivermectin and not the and just you could poison the whole supply, make it readily available, like push it in shoppers.
Yeah.
Or
Whatever the Walgreens.
yeah, you push it there and mass distribute it. Let all the people die that oppose them, that are trying to take these drugs that will probably kill them.
That's the other thing. Is
you will target the demographic.
Why would you want to kill the sheep? They already want to follow you. I don't understand what the okay, let's say the government created COVID so that they could create a vaccine to kill you. Let's entertain that, right? Why would they want to kill the people that they get on TV, say, hey, get the vaccine, and they just walk and get the vaccine? Why would they want to kill those people? Wouldn't they want to kill the people that didn't get the vaccine? Like, if I was the government and I was trying to control people, I would create an actual deadly virus that killed everybody and then vaccinate, like, the people that were, loyal to me and, like, listen to my fucking shit. The cognitive dissonance. I just don't understand. Because I was just saying, like, wouldn't you make COVID real and deadly? And then vaccinate the people that would get the vaccine, that would be your servants? And it kills everybody else? Like, wouldn't that be the fucking, like, grift? Like, I don't understand.
But you have to question, like, I guess it's sometimes hard to understand what are the objectives. They're not necessarily rational or logical. But the tactics, in general, they just don't make sense.
Well, they always say follow the money.
Right.
Right? Who's making money off of a pandemic? The pharmaceutical companies that make the vaccines.
Sort of. Like, I think the actual numbers are, like, Pfizer will make profit. Will make, like, profit that's, worth talking about when they hit booster shots.
Yeah.
Because they're selling to... So they have obviously they have like a sliding scale for pricing.
Yeah.
They sell to America for higher prices than they sell to Africa.
Yeah.
So they will make profit with the booster shots in America, but they won't make profit selling second doses or first doses to Africa.
Sure. But their stock price goes up, they make money overall.
Right. So their stock may be strong because they're in the news all the time, but also at the same time, because like massive publicity for a drug company is not actually that good because there's equal opposition.
That's a good point.
To the a drug company wants probably to lie beneath the radar. They want to move drugs.
They want to be Advil.
Right. They don't
Right?
want to.
You
don't want to be Bayer and Bayer. You want to be Advil.
Yeah, because everybody associates Advil with pain relief.
Right. You don't want to be.
You don't associate Advil with they're causing headaches to,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. So you don't there's no reason that a drug company would want this because.
Yeah. I agree.
It's the good outweighs the bad. I mean, maybe there's no such thing as bad press, but no, there's fucking such thing as bad press because
I say that all the time. There's no such thing as bad press.
But no, the downside exposure of a drug going bad that's this high profile. Like let's say the rollout's good, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of adverse effects, and there's 10 million people that file a fucking lawsuit down the road that could tank their stock price every game and knock out all the gains.
100%, we're gonna see fucking infomercials in 20 years. Were you or a loved one took the Pfizer COVID vaccine?
No, they have. I'm pretty sure
you might be entitled to compensation.
I'm pretty sure they have legal protections.
Well, absolutely, they have legal protections, but you can still sue people.
No. I think there's moratoriums on lawsuits against people mistreating COVID.
I don't care.
I
literally don't care.
Anyways,
I think everyone is dumb except me.
This is where we always end up.
It is right because fucking art imitates life, right?
No, it's the other way around. Yeah, life imitates art.
We're all gonna fucking die.
Yeah, thanks to this tire fire in Ontario.
Oh no, Ontario, Africa.
Yeah, in Ontario, Africa. I am so thrilled that happened here.
I had a thing.
It makes a lot of sense. So recently in our province, we went from no more capacity restrictions, everything open,
in 2 weeks,
mask mandates gone.
Yep.
And it lasted 2 weeks.
Yeah, we got rid of we got rid of masks for 2 weeks. But here's what I think happened: our premier, who is the equivalent of a governor in the States, resigned, which was a long time coming. He had his foot out the door.
Yeah.
But
his own party hated him. Everyone else hated him.
It's fine. He resigned, and right after he announced his resignation, he started putting in super strict COVID restrictions. And I think what it is because he's a conservative, he's a right-leaning guy, and his constituents wouldn't have supported him doing super strict shit.
Yeah.
But now that he's like, I don't give a fuck, I'm retired, he's like, you know what I think is going to help Manitobans? More restrictions. And he fucking put in tighter restrictions. He's like, I don't give a fuck if I get reelected because I'm not running.
Yeah, I'll do what I want.
Yeah. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I think
the cases were on the rise, but the hospitalizations and stuff are still super low, right?
Yeah, we're doing pretty well. I think we're doing pretty well. All things considered.
We're in still three figures.
Well,
for all
and
numbers.
out of we had 100 cases over the weekend.
Yeah.
80 of them, 85 of them or something was non-vaccinated, not a single shot.
Right. And there's this is something our friend JL, who will be a future guest,
maybe
if
I allow it.
Our friend JL sent me a bunch of shit last night about I think it's called Spencer's.
Spencer's Gifts?
No.
Spencer Grammar?
Spencer's, what's it called? Dilemma?
Spencer's, the store?
Spencer's Paradox. Fuck, that was really hard to come up with. Spencer's Paradox. The idea that, so for example, if you're vaccinated, you're going to be less likely to wear a mask. You're more likely to be hanging out with friends and traveling and doing all these things. So the vaccinated population is putting themselves in far more risky situations to be exposed to the virus than unvaccinated people, arguably. So what this causes in the data is a disproportionately high number of vaccinated people being infected with the virus as compared to unvaccinated people. and as compared to the effectiveness of the vaccine. So if you have a 90% effective vaccine, but you have, people with the vaccine getting sick 30% of the time, it's like, oh, it should be 70% effective, not 90. But it's because vaccinated people are putting themselves in more risky situations than unvaccinated. So that skews the numbers like crazy.
Well, we had a spike in cases when vaccines rolled out because people got a first shot and then the next day went to a fucking house party.
Right.
Because they're like, I'm invincible now, but it's like, no, you got to wait a week. Like,
So it's a paradox of that. But the difference is, like, people that are vaccinated and get sick are way less likely to get seriously sick or hospitalized, whatever. Because, like, people don't understand how the fuck vaccines work. Like, like one of my girlfriend's cousins is
one of my girlfriends.
Yeah, posts like is one of those dumbasses that posts like, oh, if you wear a mask and you have the vaccine, you must believe the vaccine doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like just that line of thought.
It's like when you drive a car and you wear a seatbelt, you think your car's not safe.
Right.
Wait.
Or you think that you're a bad driver.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah. Wait. So obviously it's a ridiculous reasoning.
Yeah.
And
false equivalency, they call it.
Right. Because a vaccine is not a fucking force field that keeps viruses away from your proximity.
Yeah.
It allows your body to more effectively deal with the infection. It does not make the infection impossible.
Yeah.
In fact, the infection is probably inevitable. You know, we're in a pandemic.
Yeah.
The infection is probably inevitable. The fact that you test positive, not surprising. But, viruses in your body, you're fighting it.
Yeah.
But how your body handles the virus is going to be entirely different because it now has an immunity to it.
I just heard a story today. My friend was telling me his friend.
I swear to God, this is grade 6, but anyways.
Yeah, well, it is. My friend was telling me his friend just has both his shots.
Yep.
Got hospitalized for COVID. Got COVID and got hospitalized, and was fucked. Like 4 days, couldn't walk. Like was like in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And he started doubting it. He's like, "What? But I'm fully vaccinated. Like, what the fuck?" So he like starts talking to the doctor. Doctor brings out all these charts and everything. He's like, "If you did not have the shot, you would be dead."
Right.
And he was just like silent. He's like, "What?" He's like, "No, you would be dead. Here's your vitals. You would have killed you. You would just be dead." He's like, like, yeah. And so my biggest piss off.
You probably got the Delta variant.
I think it was. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, because like viral load, if you don't know what that is,
Ooh.
do some fucking research.
I wish I could viral load someone.
No, it's literally that. What you're visualizing, it's that.
Huh?
Yeah, it's splooge everywhere.
Excuse me?
It's a huge load in your body.
I wish I had a huge load in my body.
A virus.
What?
Yeah. So the viral load, like, is the amount, like the physical amount of virus that is transferred.
Yeah.
Is like 10x with the Delta variants. So if your body was giving up and failing to fight off the virus with a regular COVID strain, multiply that by like 5 or 10 or whatever the fucking number is. Now it's that much harder to fight off the virus because your immune system is overwhelmed.
So here's the thing. I guess like the people. The thing that pisses me off the most, I think, about the anti-COVID crowd is like the 99.8% chance to survive or whatever, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this a couple episodes ago. Your mother's boyfriend
It's not 99%, by the way.
Has permanent
disabilities,
nerve damage from COVID.
Yeah.
So he didn't die. So he's part of the 99.8% survival rate.
But he has what they call long COVID.
Yeah. Which is
and
long-term.
Long COVID is like, I think probably closer to 10% of people that get COVID have so far permanent symptoms.
Yeah.
Like, who knows how long they'll last, but like to date, it's about like 10% of people get permanent symptoms.
But they didn't die, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
So it's just as bad as the flu.
You just can't walk or...
Well, it's fine because it's just... Do you have permanent effects from the flu? Have you had the flu before?
Literally thousands of times.
I've had the flu less than thousands of times. And I do have diarrhea every day, but I think that's because I drink more than I eat. But
Fair.
okay, so real talk. I started drinking a lot of Pepto-Bismol. Really helped my stomach situation.
Oh, really? Because you have highly acidic foods with highly acidic beverages?
Well, no. So here's the thing. I probably last time I haven't checked it in a while, but last time I checked it, I'm consuming about 2,000 calories a day.
Okay.
1,600 are from alcohol.
Jesus Christ.
Well, because I'm drinking I have like 10 beers and a salad in a day.
That's not good. It's not good.
So anyway, I had diarrhea a lot. But then I started drinking Pepto-Bismol.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm fine.
That's the most American shit I ever heard.
My poop is black though, usually.
Yeah, that's what Pepto does.
Because I read it's bismuth
Yeah.
that like here's a
It's the fact the Pepto
bismuth fact.
bismuth reacting.
I have a bismuth fact.
Okay, please do.
The half-life of bismuth.
Mm-hmm.
So half-life is how long a chemical takes to break down.
To half its current.
Half whatever, yeah. So the half-life of bismuth is 1,000,000 times longer than how old the universe is.
Wow.
It's like unfathomable how long bismuth is. So then I was
Boy.
That's like a lot of the core elements. I think like aluminum and like those like the whatever. So I was making a joke. I'm like, one day bismuth just explodes, like all the bismuth. It's like we didn't know the half-life. We estimated it. Fuck. Anyway, thank you Pepto-Bismol for sponsoring this episode.
Yeah, no. Pepto-Bismol reacting with the bad shit in your guts is what turns it black.
Yeah, which is good.
It means it's working.
Thank you, Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah. Also, you might also have like ulcers in your gut.
I just had my blood work done and I was fine, so.
Okay. Well, then you're okay.
I'm in no like pain.
Great.
I'm also, but like so.
You should change that like 90-10 ratio to like 95-5.
Of Pepto-Bismol is my 5.
Of like
the third 5.
Of like liquor and Pepto to solid foods.
Okay, no. So here, if any doctors are listening to this, you can help me. No, my when I eat anything, I'm burping for like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's about.
That's acid reflux.
No, but it doesn't hurt or anything. I just have like the gas, I guess.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of a part of that process.
So I just take Tums, is what you're saying.
Well,
I love treating everything with just drugs.
No, Tums will make you burp a lot.
Does it?
Yeah, because the acidic and basic.
Sorry.
The acidic and basic reaction in your gut is what causes the release of gas, like release of CO2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So using like the fact that like your gut is probably, basic and making, or, it's whatever at its base level, and then you're adding a bunch of acidic foods to it, then it's probably reacting at that point.
Sure.
So, like, you're just, like, preemptively taking Pepto and then eating the bad food.
Yeah.
No, it absolutely makes you gassy.
Okay, all right.
That's a part of the process, too.
Okay.
So,
I don't
fucking better.
Well, I don't fart much. It's literally just the burps.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know anything about anything. I'm also very unhealthy, evidently.
Evidently.
I've been trying to do like Freshie. Like once a week. Okay, like it's
Okay, you should fucking cook because it's not hard.
I'm not going. Like I'm just not going to. Right. I'm just
you
not.
should, like once a week.
I'm just not going to. I just like you're just not gonna make me like.
You sound like my girlfriend.
I do cook like 2 or 3 times a week. It's all barbecue. It's all like steaks and pork chops, which is also not great for my.
Well, arguably better.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I need to like. You're really good with. Tell us about your like. Let's take the shot, but like, tell us about your you do like a meal, not prep, but you have like a weekly plan, right? Like every day you like are
Yeah,
cooking a different thing.
it's kind of been slipping lately just because of schedule, but
Sure. Okay, let's take the shot and then
yeah.
explain it to me. Cheers.
Trucks. Whew. So
So that
basically,
was our second shot of ivermectin today.
thank you. I feel the worms in my gut dying.
That's why I'm burping so much.
Okay, so my girlfriend is a picky vegetarian. She'll hate me for saying this.
No,
But
it's true. I'll say it. She
She's
can.
super picky
I don't care if she
vegetarian.
hates me.
And which is, I don't know if you've cooked, but
Not once.
if if the person you're cooking for is a vegetarian but also picky about the types of vegetables that they eat, it's fucking hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, and especially if you're the type of person like me that likes to eat weird things and constantly mix it up.
Well, me and you will eat anything.
Literally anything.
Like
I'll try anything twice.
Me too. Me and you go to restaurants
Yeah, and pick
and
the weirdest thing.
and we don't like. Often we've done this. We don't look at the menu, and we just let the waitress order for us.
Right.
We've done that 100 times. Like,
Yeah. And
I don't give a shit. Like, whatever.
Right.
I will put anything in my body. I'm looking right at the camera right now. If you're watching this video, I will put it in my body.
subscribe OnlyFans.
Hit me up.
.com/VOTWILWS.
Hit me up.
So basically, it was impossible for me to cook meals that my girlfriend would just like eat and be okay with.
Sure.
So I got frustrated. I'm like, okay, you choose the fucking recipe, and I'll cook it. And so she would go on Pinterest or Instagram or wherever,
Yeah.
and she would pick the recipe, and then we'd pick a bunch of them in advance for the week, go grocery shop the exact proportions and ingredients that we needed, and then just like put on a whiteboard the list of all the things
Yeah,
that
because
were
I've seen it in
of the recipes.
I've seen it in your kitchen.
Yeah, so it wasn't
yeah.
like a schedule per se, but it was kind of nice to have it kind of laid out, and then you get to Tuesday and you're like really not feeling Tuesday's meal, and you skip to Thursday and you have Thursday's meal, and
Okay.
Tuesday you mix it up, whatever.
And you still have like the ingredients for all the
Exactly,
week, so
but you
it's
got to use them by the end of the week.
Yeah.
So we basically are using that system, and then I'll make that food, but then they're always vegetarian, sometimes vegan recipes. So there's a lot of vegetable protein, plant proteins, and we've been experimenting with some other like veggie protein products
I love experimenting.
that they can like replace tofu or
Well, and
ground
then
beef
you'll
or chicken or like Beyond Meat shit.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but then you'll like add meat to your
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll experiment with that stuff and add it to the recipe. So I'll freestyle a little bit, and then I'll cook up meat separately, and then I'll kind of make two dishes side by side, where mine is with meat, hers
Yeah.
is with a meat alternative or no meat alternative. And it's kind of a challenge at that point, where it allows me to kind of, I guess, just make up shit as I go and have a little fun with it. But having the menu item, having the stuff in your fridge, and knowing that you need to cook it or you wasted money,
Yeah.
and combined with the fact that like there's some kind of like pre-agreement that this is going to be eaten, like all those things together make it a lot easier to execute.
More than one thing with your girlfriend, am I right? Pre-agreement, something needs to be eaten. That was supposed to be a
It's
Squidward.
like that TikTok that fucking slaps a tire.
Burger. Anyway, but so
So it's good. Try it out. Like, pick recipes in advance, shop accordingly, and fucking cook them. And then when you find your favorites, and you start finding that there's like a lot of ingredients that are just kind of staples, and you can kind of put yourself in a rut at the same time, but have your base level of stuff. It'll take a couple weeks to get used to, but at that point you'll start to figure out kind of a routine, and also consistently pushing the boundaries.
So in the month of July, I spent $4,000 on skip the dishes.
Holy hell.
Yeah, on food delivery.
Holy hell.
Yeah, twice a day.
That sounds like when I used to work for, who,
Yeah.
and I spent about that going out to eat with my significant other.
Yeah.
like every night,
Yeah.
and on the weekends or whatever. Like we just went out like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Which was better than, I would argue, skip the dishes, because
I agree.
we would go out to like fancy restaurants and have a day of it for a couple for that amount of
No,
money.
I was mistaken when I said July. I meant March or April. July was way too recent now that I think about it. No, it was one of the months where we were in a stricter lockdown.
Yeah.
Before market season.
Yeah.
And I was just at home.
Just depression shopping on skip the
Well,
dishes.
yeah, it was between depression and so when
You're just bored.
So, well, you know me, like I don't eat a lot.
Yeah.
Like I don't really care about food. I like good food,
Yeah.
but I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? Like I'll be just as happy eating a fucking pack of ramen that I will, $120 steak dinner or whatever. Like food's kind of like give it or take. So when I'm working, like busy, like I am now, I eat one meal a day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat in the morning. I don't give a fun fact. Breakfast, the most important meal of the day, was a trademarked slogan from a fucking breakfast cereal company.
Yeah. Breakfast is fucking irrelevant unless you don't want it to be.
People never used to eat breakfast.
Yeah.
Until like breakfast cereal companies were like, we gotta fucking get spending 3 meals instead of 2 meals.
People aren't eating cold cereal for dinner. When do we sell
Yes,
cold cereal?
Exactly.
Yeah. So they invented that.
So I never eat breakfast almost ever.
Yeah.
I try to drink a lot of water.
I usually have coffee, water, pastry.
Yeah. I drink a lot. I don't drink coffee. I take caffeine pills. I'm not kidding.
Fair. I love ginseng. You should switch to ginseng.
Word.
Switch to ginseng pills.
Okay, I will.
Much
yeah,
more.
word.
Yeah. Get it at the health food store.
That's a thing.
Slower build, slower crash.
Yeah.
And you don't build up tolerance to it as easily.
Okay. Ginseng. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it, obviously, but I've never. Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, it's a key ingredient in most energy.
We don't like
products,
ginseng
but-
teas and shit. Like, okay. Okay. Yeah. Because I take caffeine pills right now. And I try to drink a lot of water. I've said this on the podcast before, but I switched to carbonated water. Shut Up Bubbly is my brand. I've fucking tried Perrier, which is like more expensive. I don't like it as much. The flavors, I don't know.
Yeah, fair.
Bubbly, I think is a Canadian brand.
Bubbly is bougie.
Bubbly's lit. So I drink like 4 liters of bubbly a day. I'm not even kidding. I drink a fuck ton. My partner and I put it on our
Business partner, not sexual.
Yes, my business partner and I put it on my bar's menu, even though no one buys it, just to justify my business paying for it.
Right.
So my business,
quote unquote, company canteen.
Yeah, it's a company canteen. No, it literally is. CRA benefit. Fuck you, CRA. It's a company canteen. And that is a non-taxable benefit. I've gone through the tax code. Fuck you. But I drink literally 10, 15 cans of bubbly a day.
It's a lot.
It's literally just carbonated water, right?
Yeah.
Flavor carbonated water.
Yeah.
There's no calories, no sugar, no nothing. I feel better since I started drinking this shit.
Sure.
Because I tried
You're hydrated.
I tried to force myself to drink water.
Yeah.
And I could get like 2 liters in a day, maybe.
Which is still pretty good.
Which is still, yeah, but I would like by the end of it, I'm like, okay, I gotta finish this, like kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm drinking this shit, it's like my body is like, oh, this is a beer. This is like a beer.
This
It's
is a
carbonated,
drink.
and I fucking kill it. And I literally like I drink like 2 before I leave the house. Like I drink a ton at work. I bring 4 to every market I go to. Like literally, I'm fucking chugging these things back, especially in the heat.
Yeah.
And I feel better. So for breakfast, I have a caffeine pill and an entire bubbly. I just like chug the bubbly back, fucking take the caffeine pill. That's my breakfast.
Fun fact, chugging water is one of the best ways to just wake your brain up in the morning.
Yeah, I
Like,
almost
as
think
opposed to like
that.
coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, just chugging water.
Yeah.
Like you should like wake up, turn off your alarm, chug water.
Interesting.
It's very effective.
You know
way to
what's
wake
funny?
up.
Because I think I do that now without. I always take 2 bubbly cans down to bed with me, and I sleep very poorly. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But I wake up 5 or 6 times a night, just randomly, and so at like when I wake up at like 3 a.m., I like don't even open my eyes. I open the bubbly can and chug half of it and then go back to bed.
Yeah.
Also to make myself have to pee in the morning, so it forces me out of bed. That helps me get up.
Yes.
That might be a weird thing, but
No, honestly, for me, it's like my morning shit. I have a hard time getting out of the morning to like, I gotta shit. And then you have to get up.
yeah.
No arguing with that.
So I drink a bubbly caffeine pill for breakfast. Then I usually leave to work. Depending on the day, I usually leave the house before like noon. No, but I have specifically.
I'm laughing because that's funny.
Yeah, well, we've talked about this before. People are always like, "Oh, you're so lucky you can wake up at 10 a.m." I've already been at work for 4 hours, right? This is methodical. I have planned my entire industry and days, my entire business around not having to wake up before 10 a.m. But I usually wake up like 8, 9, out of the house by 10, 11.
Crack at noon.
Well, yeah. But then I come home at 3 a.m. Like my bar closes at 11. I do the closing. Yeah. Like, it's like whatever. And when I'm at work, I feel like I don't get hungry. Like I feel like if my mind's going, like the reason why I spent 4 G's on food delivery when I was in like April was because I was just sitting at home in my basement on my computer, and I'm like, I'm fucking hungry, but I was actually just bored. Yeah. Or whatever, right? And I would order like delivery twice a day. But now when I'm out all the time, like this is my busy season right now, I'll be like, I go to a thing, I go to meetings, and then I do a market or whatever, and I'm there till and it's like 6 p.m. and someone's like, oh, you want a carrot? I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, that's the first thing I'm actually eating today. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't feel hungry when I'm working.
I don't know what the actual factual basis of this is, because it was
absolutely a thing though.
It was a long time ago. No, I'm going to bring something else up.
Sure. Okay.
But my mom,
for the record, I'm about to crack when you were like jokingly, you're not going to have 2 shots of cocktail and 4 beers. I'm about to crack my fourth. Cocktail. That's why I said at the beginning. These are also 473 ml beers. They're like the big cans.
And what percentage?
This one's 6.2.
Okay, so that's like 2 Budweisers. So you're on like your 8th beer, 7th beer, 8.5, 9.5, 10 beers.
Tell your story. I gotta pee.
Yeah. Anyways, my mom used to talk about this. Fucking awful way to preface something, but most Americans cannot distinguish the difference between their thirst mechanism and hunger. So when a lot of people, or most people, think that they're hungry or they need something to eat, or they need a snack, or I need some potato chips, or I need some cookies, or I need a snack, you're actually thirsty. You're dehydrated, but your brain can't tell the difference between hungry and thirsty because it's so conditioned to not being hydrated, it doesn't know what the solution is to the problem. So it's like the hungry, thirsty signal is just blended. It's useless. And if you think about, how often do I eat a fucking snack when I just need a drink of water? It's probably a lot. And a way to get over this, very simply, is next time you're hungry, next time you're feeling peckish, next time you want a snack, drink a full glass of water, wait 20 minutes, see if you're still fucking hungry.
Well, I didn't hear any of that because I was in the bathroom, but what I think you were saying is water fills up your stomach.
No, I was saying most people can't distinguish between the hunger
and
mechanism and thirst mechanism.
Okay, so here's what I learned when I was homeless.
Drink Pepto.
No. When I was homeless, I would chug a bunch of water to fill my stomach because I couldn't afford food. I was homeless for like 3 months in 2016 or 15. when I was like 19 or 20. It was like we got evicted from, I had a trap house. It was a whole thing. We got evicted. And then before I could figure out my next place of living, I just didn't have a home. And then I ended up caving and asking my parents if I could sleep in their basement. They didn't give me my room back or anything, but they let me sleep in the basement. And that was actually when we started to kind of repair our relationship, which is good. But anyway, when I was homeless, that was the thing. It's like, number one, I couldn't afford to eat. Number two, I didn't have anywhere to cook or anything really, right? Because like, thankfully, when I was homeless, I never slept on the street. I never slept in a bus shelter. I never anything like that. I was able to couch surf and ask my friends to sleep at their places and whatever. Like, I never, like, well, literally, it was like you wake up in the morning and it's like, okay, well, my goal today is to meet someone that will let me sleep on their couch. And a couple times I just like hang out at a bar and I'd start drinking with people, as you do. And it's like, oh, hey, like, actually, I don't have anywhere to crash tonight. Oh, you crash with me! What, And, so I didn't really have anywhere to cook. And I didn't have money
that's fair.
And I didn't have any money to eat out. So I would chug water. And you drink, I read, like 3 liters of water, and your stomach is literally full of water.
Right.
I'm pissing every 20 minutes. But, hunger pains are gone.
Right.
Because your stomach's full of water.
Yeah, at that point, like,
obviously not the healthy, but like between being homeless and hunger pains, it was.
Okay, so to the class, show of hands, who here has not eaten for more than 48 hours?
Yeah, easy.
Okay,
yeah.
More than 4 days. Not a single calorie for more than 4 days.
No.
I have.
Okay.
I fasted 5.5 days.
Okay.
And
what were you trying to?
Yeah, it was intentional.
Okay.
It was not religious or culty behavior. It was like I was sick.
Okay.
And you can fun fact, you can fast your way out of a cold or a flu.
Do you know the science behind that?
Generally is your body spends a shit ton of energy digesting food.
Okay.
And the fact that you don't have an appetite
is
when
because
you're sick,
you're spending the energy fighting off the cold.
and you just don't need food. You don't need calories.
That's actually interesting.
Like you can survive for like 30 to 60 days without food.
Yeah, well, 100%. People do it.
Right. So a cold blows over in 3,
Jesus
4,
was in
5,
the, no,
7
who was
days.
in the desert? Moses?
Jesus. And Moses.
Who was like 60 days in the desert or something?
Jesus.
Okay, so Jesus didn't eat for 60 days.
Yeah.
And that was fine.
Exactly. Based. Jesus is based.
Jesus is not based, honestly.
Problematic.
No. Jesus is based. Jesus' fan club is not based.
Fair. I'll
Remember
agree.
how he's like, I'll heal people?
And hang out with sluts and whores.
No, but he's like,
Sleuths and whores.
he's like, I'll heal the lepers. And then people went, no, I don't know, but that vaccine for lepers, I don't know if that's fucking violating my freedoms.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah.
You can fast your way out of a cold or flu.
Okay.
If you think it's bullshit, next time you get sick, try it.
Well, now that you say that.
Go straight water or tea if you need.
Yeah.
Water and tea until because you kind of hit the peak of your symptoms and then come back down on the other side.
Yeah.
When you, after your symptoms peak and start getting better, then you can start slowly refeeding, which means have some soup or some broth or have something light.
Well, like
some salad, light food, slowly refeed.
The guy that we know that used to fast.
Yeah.
Stefan, he's dead now. Lord,
not fasting related.
Not fasting related. God rest his soul. He passed away of cancer. But Stefan used to fast for months, right?
You did 40 days.
40 days, and what he would do after the 40 days, the next day he had 1 slice of mango.
Yeah.
2 days, and then the next day, like a slice of mango and a fucking piece of watermelon.
Yeah.
And then would slowly get back into food.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
40 days, only water.
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah, 40-day water fast.
That's fucked.
Yeah, and I've done like I said, like 5.5 days.
I've done 2 days easy. I don't think probably 3 days I've
And
done.
And I'll be honest, I wasn't hungry probably until day 4.
But you were sick.
Yeah.
But imagine like just being you right now.
It
like, I'm not gonna eat.
depends what I'm doing and what I was eating, but it would probably take until day 2 to day 3 before I would actually start seeing symptoms of hunger.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Because like half the time I eat, it's just because maybe I should eat. It's not like I'm not in pain. I'm just like, I
Right.
just haven't eaten in a while.
but no, that's the thing. People think that feeling in your stomach
yeah.
is hunger. It's not.
What is it?
It's your stomach emptying.
And that's when I, without knowing any of this science,
Yeah.
when I was home, I was like, I'm going to chug a bunch of water
Right.
because that helps with the stomach pains. And it just worked. And I didn't know
No,
this
like
whole
the
thing.
like see the what people understand.
But water goes to your balls and food goes to your stomach.
Yeah.
Right.
So the feeling that you think of when you think of hunger, like, oh, my stomach's growling, like that sort of like
Yeah.
empty pain feeling, is your
Yeah.
stomach emptying and cleansing, like self-cleansing, basically, which is what it's supposed to do.
Like my vagina.
which is what it's supposed to do on a daily basis.
Sure.
But when it has that sensation of like, oh, I'm emptying out, cleansing,
You put a fucking burger in it.
yeah, and
That's
stops the process.
That's actually interesting.
It's not good for you.
Yeah.
Humans are designed to eat more intermittently because humans did not have 3 square a day. They would forage, they would hunt, and therefore not have
Well,
that structure.
One of my favorite things that I want to try and do when I have more free time is what is it? Second sleep. You ever hear of this? I think I've told you about this before.
Mhm.
So humans
Siesta.
No. So humans used to sleep allegedly for like 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You'd wake up and do something for an hour, eat something, and then go back to sleep. Sleep for another 3 hours.
Right. Yeah.
And
Because that's the REM cycle.
yeah,
It's
because
3 hours.
you would
'Cause
have that first
3 hours is maximum
sure
REM cycle.
yeah okay. So you would have the first 3 hour REM cycle. You would wake up, and I sleep poorly. I wake up in the middle of the night all the time. I think
I do not.
I do, but I think between REM cycles, I wake up all the I sleep very poorly. Always have. Don't fucking leave a comment. I have tried everything. I've gone to doctors. I just sleep poorly.
Yeah, fuck your advice.
I've tried
And fuck you personally, honestly.
No, I love you.
Listener.
I love you personally.
Listener, fuck you personally.
Listener, I love you personally. That's one of my favorite running jokes on this podcast is Tyler hates all of you and I love all of you.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, I love you. But I've done the thing where for weeks I tried no phone for an hour and a half before bed.
Yeah.
The
The blue screen.
Yeah, I've tried the
meditation, the
I
don't snack.
Literally, I have tried
all
it
the gimmicks.
I have
Yeah.
literally tried everything. I just can't get it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I've learned to live with it. I've figured it out.
You're just broken. It's fine.
So apparently what humans used to do is, but you would sleep for 3 hours, your REM sleep would happen, and then at after you would wake up and people would like stand up, go eat food, and then come back to bed and sleep again.
Like tend to animals, guard the camp,
Yeah. For like an hour.
have sex with a woman.
Whatever. And I think latest, and this was like before electricity, because electricity fucked us all up. Having the ability to switch on fucking lights.
Yeah, fuck these lights.
Yeah. Having the ability to switch on lights in the morning ruined how our bodies are supposed to function.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the latest references of second sleep was in like a Mark Twain book where he was talking about second sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently before that, it was like well documented, but we just don't do it anymore. But I want to try and get back into that. But I think I was reading what you need is like a house that's like blackout shade, like not an inch of light can get in.
You're in a basement. That's
And,
easy.
well, sure. And no like electricity at all. Like your shit, like there needs to be no lights on your fucking phone charger. There needs to be like nothing for your body to like
Shut
be
up.
like, this is
Yeah.
dark, like whatever, right? So there's like, because well, you've seen me. I personally sleep with my laptop open, my phone open, my fucking like whatever.
Yeah, I sleep way better than camping. Like, with no phone, no
So
lights, no
here's the
nothing.
thing with me. When I've gone camping before. Wow, wild Willows out in the fucking
What?
No, I've gone camping before. It's weird to say, but like the sound of silence, where it's like
You're camping in the wrong
this,
spot.
where it's just silent.
You're camping in the wrong spot.
There's borbs.
Real wilderness camping is loud as fuck.
Okay.
Insects, animals, birds,
Okay.
like coyotes fucking, like it's fucking loud.
Okay. I don't really like camping, so I haven't really done it that much.
Like real backwoods camping is loud as fuck.
Okay.
Nature is always horny and DTF and doing its thing while you're trying to sleep.
Okay. Well, here's my point though. I need 7 fans and a fucking podcast and a music. Like
So here's what I have set up with my life. So my girlfriend grew up with a ceiling fan in her room, and it's never off. That's what she falls asleep to. I personally, tangentially, like had a relationship with another person that, like, as soon as she would fall asleep, her breathing would get kind of louder. It wasn't like a snore, but it was like just short of.
Oh, my ex used to snore.
Right. So I fell asleep to basically, I could not fall asleep until I heard her hit REM state or like snoring.
That's
basically.
wild. That's cool.
I could not physically sleep until I heard that sound.
That's interesting, actually.
Right. And then she was traveling for months at a time. So I had to replace the snoring sound with white noise.
Sure.
Or at the same, like, basically the same thing as like rain sounds. Rain sounds are basically a white noise.
Yeah.
So I had to use that in order to trigger my brain to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend fell asleep to a fan, white noise. I fell asleep to snoring, white noise. So whenever I say, hey, the search engine, good night, it runs a sequence which...
Did you just not say it now because you didn't want to trigger all our phones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So when I say that anywhere in my house, because it's always listening, thanks, Uncle Ben. Big Ben? Big brother. Uncle Ben? What's Ben? Who's Ben?
Uncle Ben is
Jesus Christ, that's
Uncle
rice.
Ben is the rice.
That's good rice.
Big Ben is the clock tower in England.
And brother
what
uncle.
the fuck are you talking about?
I'm drunk. Fuck you.
How?
So I say, hey, guy.
Hey, gabagool.
Yeah, good night. It turns off all the lights in my house.
Sure.
Armed security system.
Yep.
Turns my phone to do not disturb mode. And then turns on rain sounds. So it runs like a background thunderstorm rain noise for 60 minutes. Guaranteed fucking knocks me and my girlfriend out.
That's wild. So
every night, that's the routine. So you say good night, boom, house shuts down, phone shut down, I go to sleep.
The most success I've found is like people talking, like podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But I've found more success, and I don't know if this is a thing, but I've found more success on shit I've already consumed like 20 times.
Or you listen to one of those sleep podcasts where they tell you a mundane story.
Okay.
This is my favorite.
I've never tried.
In like monotone, they're like, so I got up this morning and I made myself a bowl of granola oats and 1% milk like I usually do. And
I'm tired actually.
Yeah. It's just like it's like the most pointless storytelling in that kind of tonality. And some people, boom, that's what makes fall asleep.
Maybe I'm gonna try that 100%. But what I'll do is throw on.
Sometimes for some people it's vocal tones.
Yeah.
For some people it's white noise. But for the same reason that music can fuck your concentration is because guitar, piano, and vocals can trigger your limbic system, which
it does for me. Do you get like chills when you listen to music?
Yes.
Like when your hair stands up?
Yep.
Okay, apparently that's like 20% of people get that.
Yep.
I do
I
too.
get it from vocals.
I do
though.
too.
Specifically,
Well,
good
I get like
vocals.
if I listen to like a song that they're talking like "Dance with the Devil" by Immortal Technique or something that's like fucking personal and like fucked up. When I hear like the crux of it, like fucking hair on the back of my neck stands up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, apparently that's very not a lot of people can get that.
Yeah.
But a good fucking bass drop in a dubstep song will do that to me. Like literally, So that's exactly what you're saying. Is that shit? So what I'll do is listen to YouTube videos or podcasts that I've already heard before, though, because I think if I don't hear it, then I want to hear it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I want to hear this. And I don't know if this is, but like, I listen to like British accent podcasts.
Right.
I think that helps. I don't know if that's a real thing.
The British are so boring. It puts the it puts the insomniacs to sleep.
Shout out to Jarcast.
Shout out British.
I'm a big fan of Jarcast. And they're just a bunch of British guys my age that it's like basically a podcast like this where it's a comedy kind of whatever. They talk about whatever they want, but they're British and they have British accents. And I think the British accents put me to sleep faster. I don't know if that's a thing.
It probably is.
Maybe it's a thing.
It's probably a fetish.
Maybe I'm just horny for fucking Alex and Jamie
and Afrikaans.
Whatever. But okay. But yeah, I don't know. I need something because like I can't do silence. I just like it doesn't work.
On nights that I'm specifically really restless,
yeah,
I listen to an audiobook. And a lot of audiobook voice actors are British.
Fucking Brits, man. They got the monopoly on this shit.
They really do. Fucking white people.
Wait.
And so what I'll do is I'll set a sleep timer on my Audible to 30 minutes. Because, it's 15 minutes usually too short. 30 minutes usually good. So I'll set my Audible sleep timer to 30 minutes. And I'll fall asleep listening to the book. Sometimes it'll take me 3 minutes to fall asleep. Sometimes I have to reset it. It takes me 90 minutes to fall asleep. But either way, in 30-minute increments, I know roughly where I was in the book.
Yeah.
And then next morning when I wake up, first thing I do is I open up Audible and I go listen to the story and I skip back by chapter or by 30 seconds until the story sounds repetitive.
Yeah.
And then I pause it. I go about my day.
Okay.
Or you can literally clip or bookmark exactly where you started listening. And yeah, sometimes I'll fall asleep in like 2.5 minutes flat. Sometimes it'll take me 2.5 hours. But either way, the book takes me into oblivion. Sometimes it works in an adverse way where I get so into the book where I cannot fall asleep.
Yeah, well, that's why...
Because I have this brain for movies.
Yeah.
I can be like paralytically like sleepy, but cannot fucking sleep because I'm invested in the movie.
Yeah, that happens to me too.
Yeah. My girlfriend's like asleep 4 minutes into the movie. I'm, 3 hours in, sleepy, like almost dozing off, like I'm nodding off, but like I'm like I can't sleep.
Well,
I gotta see.
And that works to my detriment as well because I am watching a shitty movie, but I need to know what happens.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it can be the worst fucking movie, but like I have to be a 12 out of 10
it's
sleepy
funny,
or drunk,
it's
or I
funny.
have to be pissed off at the movie.
It's funny that I consider us pretty different.
Yeah. We're the same on that front.
But we're the same personality type on the Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
And then every time we tell stories, I'm like, oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I if someone was asking us to describe each other, I think we would describe completely different people.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
It's
like
just-
my
it's a
girl,
weird-
my girlfriend's like trying to have sex with me. I'm like pushing her off. I'd be like, "Fuck off! I'm
Oh
watching
yeah,
a
don't
movie."
fucking touch me, bro.
Yeah, like I know we're Netflix and chilling, but let me Netflix then chill.
Yeah, fuck off.
I don't want Netflix and
No.
chill. I want to Netflix then chill.
I'm like, yeah, look, you see that? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know this was Robert De Niro's first role? It's like whatever.
Why? Why are we like this? It's not helpful.
I don't know, man. Like what we.
You want to take a shot of Pepto?
So here's what I'm gonna do. I want to use my phone for it to make a reel though.
Okay.
So let's finish up, and then I'll take my phone off.
Okay.
I want to do a Pepto and Hennessy shot.
Why?
It's funny.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
No, I'll put it on reels, and I think we'll get views.
That sounds disgusting. Did you like premeditate this, or
Yeah.
did you just come up with this?
Well, like 5 minutes ago, but yeah.
oh
Whenever
my
I
god,
walked over
I
and got
fucking
it.
hate you.
Or like tequila I can do, but like we're doing Pepto and something.
I fucking hate
We're
you.
doing Pepto and something.
Pepto and mango
No,
habanero will
that'd
smoke
be
you.
way worse than fucking this. Really? We can do gin. That might taste better, but like no, fuck off with the sweet. Like no, there's no way.
On that note, thanks for listening. It's been a fucking ride.
Thanks for listening.
We
It's been a-
talked to you about caffeine, skip the dishes, drinking,
Yep.
tire fires that
Sure.
are irrelevant
in Africa. Yeah,
in Africa, Ontario,
yeah. Wait.
and why the fuck you should subscribe to OnlyFans.
Anyway, thank you. Yeah, thank you for listening to.
Max out your credit card. Fansly.com/VOTEWILWS.
Thank you for listening to Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast. That's Alcohol Beyond This Point on Instagram, Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast on Facebook. If you want to see me and Tyler take a shot of alcoholic Pepto-Bismol, please
I
follow.
hate it.
We're going to, though. We're about to record it, but I need to take my phone off of the recording of the podcast.
I
So
do not consent.
follow us on Instagram, Alcohol Beyond This Point. We're about to post a reel in like 5 minutes of us taking a shot of alcoholic Pepto-Bismol.
In 5 minutes, aka 2 weeks ago.
Well, I'm way behind editing as well, so
Yeah.
yeah, this will be like a month. But yeah, check my the Instagram, Alcohol Beyond This Point, to see us take a shot of alcoholic Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah. And if we see a spike in viewership in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I fucking love you.
You'll know Willows is right.
But also fuck you.
I love you. Vote Willows. My name is Willows. Vote Willows. VOTEWILOWS on everything. Tyler the builder.
Close enough.
So
That's fine.
10 weeks this guy was telling me his fucking Instagram handle is Tyler _ the builder when it's actually Tyler the _ builder. Yeah. Fucking
Yeah, follow Surface Studio for ASMR of fixing things.
that's his tile company.
Yep.
And did Tyler make a tile company because his name is that?
Yes.
Yes.
100%. No doubt.
Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast.